All right, Shalom Israel, welcome back. Shabbat Shalom to all our brothers and sisters out there. Shout out, and Shalom to everybody that came in person in class. Hope everybody's doing well. Shout out to our brothers and sisters online. Shout out to our brother schools in Rochester, New York, Norfolk, Virginia, and Houston, Texas. Also, mighty Shalom to Cabo Cab, that camp founder down in Guatemala, and also brother Amiatza in London. Give a shout out and shalom to all of our brothers in California, Florida, Georgia, New Mexico. Shout out and shalom to all you brothers as well. And we've been kind of going systematically through the rebuilding of the temple, with Ezra being initially commissioned by the Most High to initiate the process of us restoring the temple after the Babylonian conquest. But before we go back into it, we kind of refresh the class. But let's go ahead and get our prayers started first. Imagine that's just me and Dawiyah for now. Got candles. All right, great. Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Hahawa'ah. Natananao. Awar. Zayawam. Thawada. Aman.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us this light this day. Thanks, so be it.
The incense.
Yeah.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Hahawa'ah. Natananao. Rayak. Nayakaka. Thawada.
Aman. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us sweet savor. Thank you, so be it.
Imagine we'll put your Shalom.
Stand and face Jerusalem.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Hahawa'ah. Natananao. Hashabbat. Shalom. Thawada. Aman.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the Sabbath in peace. Thank you, so be it.
All right. Psalms 121. Nasya, Yanyamya, Haharium, Ma'ayah, Yabu'ah, Isaiah, Yabu'ah, Yahweh, Sha'aisha, Shemayim, Wa'ratazah, Ya'ah, Yanathan, Namawat, Regalia, Yala'ah, Nawum, Shashamayah, Hana, Yala'ah, Nawum, Wala'ah, Yashun, Joshua Mars, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Samaria, Yahweh, Tazalia, Isle, Yanyamya, Yad, Hashamash, Yala'ah, Hakayah, Bayawum, Wala'ah, Halabana, Walayala, Yahweh, Yashamaria, Makol, Rai, Yashamar, Napashia, Yahweh, Yashamar, Hawalakia, Wabu'aya, Ma'aita, Wa'ai, Awalam. Aman.
I will lift up my eyes to the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. For the Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy city upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He that shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth and even forevermore. Amen.
Israelite Trio. Shema Yasha'ala.
Shema Yasha'ala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Alahaya Nawa. Yahweh. Echad. Shema Yasha'ala.
Shema Yasha'ala.
Yahweh. Alahaya Nawa. Yahweh. Echad. Shema Yasha'ala.
Shema Yasha'ala.
Yahweh. Alahaya Nawa. Yahweh. Echad.
Hear Israel, Yahweh our power. Yahweh is one.
Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabashamayim, Kodash, Hayab, Shamka, Yahweh, Malak with Ka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayab, Aisha, Ratazah, Kawa, Hayab, Bashamayim, Nasalanawa, Wachom, Lakom, Yawam, Wasalachanawa, Kapwathnawa, Kasalachanawa, Kapwathinawa, Wala'ah, Sabiyanawa, Banasayawan, Abo, Hawashanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Lakab, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wataparath, Lai will love you. Amen.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Amen. 10 Commandments. La'ah Yahaya. Lakah. Alahayim, Akarium, Al, Panya.
Thou shalt have no other powers before me.
Number 2. La'ah, Za'aina, Lakol, Kasol, Wala'ah, Za'abaydim.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, nor serve them.
Number 3. La'ah, Talakwakath, Sham, Yahweh, Bashawa.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy power in vain.
Number 4. Zakar, Hayawam, Hashabath, Lakwadashwa.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Number 5. Kabad, Abaka, Ya, Amaka.
Honor thy father and thy mother.
Number 6. La'ah, the Ratazah.
Thou shalt not kill, murder.
Number 7. La'ah, Thana'ah.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Number 8. La'ah, Taganah.
Thou shalt not steal.
Number 9. La'ah, Ta'aina. Shakor.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
Number 10. La'ah, Zachamai. Kol. Asherah. Lara'ika.
Thou shalt not covet anything which is thy neighbor's.
Barakatay Haba Shem Yahushai.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the law.
Yeshabi. Everybody take seats. All right, shalom, everybody online. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Hope you're doing well for the Shabbat. And we're gonna get back into the topic. We didn't finish Nehemiah chapter 2. We're gonna focus on Nehemiah chapter 3. We didn't really finish chapter 2, so we're gonna kind of recoup and recover where we stopped at last Shabbat. So let's go ahead and revisit Nehemiah chapter 2, and we're going to start at verse We're going to start at verse 12. But before we do that, let's go ahead and salute the next reader in. Kariah, come on up.
Kariah, Shah Shabbatah, Banashah, Banyashala.
Kariah, Shah Shabbatah, Banashar, Banyashala, Amajum, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahshabakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahshabakatam.
That's Batah. All right. I know we didn't get a chance to go into all of chapter 2. We're just going to kind of do a quick recap. Now, last week we talked about how the introducing of Nehemiah's pain to Artaxerxes, how it made him very uncomfortable, but because his heart went out to his people, and he had a heart for his nation, it sorrowed his heart, it pained his heart to hear the bad news of the destruction and the decimation of Jerusalem and the condition that the people were living in once he heard it from the brothers that were visiting in the land of Shusha, in the Persian palace, or Persian city. So he had prayed and he had fasted to the Father, and the Most High answered his prayers and put a spirit into Artaxerxes to aid him in the reconstruction and rebuilding, and giving him permission to go about and restore the walls, the temple walls. And then we look at the task at hand. It was known that there were robbers. He had received, appropriate wealth, gold and silver for the restoration. He received letters from the king, and he received armed guards. Now we read last week how Ezra had, when he requested the same thing, he didn't request any guards to help him and aid him in that progress to go rebuild the temple. But Nehemiah was like, no, let's go ahead and get some guards, because the condition, and we went through the last week and explained the lawlessness that was alive and well during that time in Jerusalem, how robbers and kidnappers were extorting people, kidnapping people day and night. Yeah, it was a common thing. It was very ruthless, a very ruthless society and lawless society, almost like the Wild Wild West in Billy the Kid days. So it was very critical to have some type of bodyguards or armed security at the time. So we're going to pick up where Nehemiah finally gets to Jerusalem and his approach. Now, go ahead and start. Dawiyat, let me go ahead and see if I can go ahead and break that down, and let me see if I can get these pictures.
Chapter 3, verse 1.
2 verse 1.
I don't know. Maybe a war.
Gotcha.
Maybe a war got some of these pictures already, because what I want to do is
the diagram, right? The gate.
Yeah. Let me see. Let me see if a war got some of these pictures already up on the screen.
That's the.
Yes. Yeah, this is perfect.
That's perfect.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and pick up on this.
Bit?
Yeah, let me see if I can. I don't want it to be too hard to see. But once we get started, you'll be able to see. I don't want to shrink it too much. All right, let's go ahead and pick up from there, since we do have an adequate picture up here.
All right, verse 1.
Okay. And a war will be back soon. We're filling in for a war temporarily, but yeah. Say it again.
Let's go. It's all good.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So we'll be glad when the war gets back, because I know he probably already has some things that he wanted to bring out that are already pre-programmed on here. But let's go ahead and get started here.
Nehemiah chapter 3 and verse 1.
Now let's go. Let's go. Chapter 2, verse 12.
Oh, chapter 2, verse 12.
Yes, start at verse 11.
Nehemiah chapter 2 and verse 11. So I came to Jerusalem and was there 3 days.
He says, so finally Nehemiah arrives back in Jerusalem, and he's there for 3 days. But what is he doing? He's there for 3 days, and what is he doing? Read on.
Verse 12. And I arose in the night, I and some few men with me.
So he said in the middle of the night he arose, him and a few men with him. Read.
It says, neither told I any man what my power had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem.
Now he couldn't. He couldn't tell people out. This you gotta look at the situation and the whole condition. It's not just if we build a temple, everybody's happy, everybody's good, everybody celebrates the Jews coming up. It's an environment where people are making money, people have careers, people have political power, people have political power with the state as far as the rulership that was in power. They had authority. When you look at Israel in captivity, there's always a hierarchy of politicians and people that are doing well that are bootlickers, or the better term for it would be like a bootleg scenario where they're connected in with the kings. They're connected in with different political rulers. It's not just this one king and he's running everything and everything's all under his watch. It's multiple sets of lieutenants and leaders in general. So when you're seeing this situation, it's not as easy as, okay, we're going to construct the temple and everybody's with it. Everybody's not going to be on the same page. This is the reason why there was a need for secrecy. Let's go real fast to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6 verse 24. So he kept it secret and he kept it quiet, unlike our people these days, right? What do our people do these days? Our business is always in the streets. What black people finna do, what Latinos finna do, it's always well known. And when you see the nations, what do the nations do? Nations find ways to counter our objectives as nations so they can have resources, they can have benefits, they can have hierarchy and authority above us, right? Let's read Wisdom of Solomon chapter 24, 6 verse 24, and then read the actual verse in Nehemiah first, and then we'll go to the scripture.
Okay, come. Nehemiah chapter 2 and verse 12. And I arose in the night, I and some few men with me. Neither told I any man what my power had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem.
So I'm not going to tell anybody, because as you know, our people have a lot of loose lips. They like to inform people. There's always informative people amongst us, or there's always sellouts amongst our people. That's why our people really don't accomplish that much on a national scale, because we're not really unified. We have one focus, have one mind. That's not normally the case for our people, even back then. Read on.
It says, neither was there any beast with me, save the beast that I rode upon. And I went out by night by the gate of the valley.
So he said earlier, it says, I had a few men with me. A few men with me. Well, he has associates, he has brothers that he's rolling with, right? I want to pull this one scripture, because when you go into the chapter 3, you're going to see lots of different families, lots of different men of authority, lots of different people contributing to the building or the rebuilding of our nation, right? The wall of Israel that was created was in 41 sections. There was 41 sections that had to be rebuilt. It wasn't just one wall or two walls or it's some simple project. It was a multi-sectional project, and it had to get done at a fast pace, because if it wasn't done at a certain pace, guess what? It's easy for another nation to come in and destroy the walls. When you read about the time period, they said that the estimation of how quick it took us to build the wall was about 2 months. It took us around 2 months to rebuild those 41 sections, to have our nation to have some type of physical protection. All right? It took many years to get there, but the actual physical building took around 2 months. I want to pull the scripture right here. Read 6 and 24 of Wisdom of Solomon.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6 and verse 24. But the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world.
The multitude of the wise, meaning the gathering of men that have biblical competence, spiritual competence, and political competence, logistical competence, right? Men that know how to have skill sets and know how to work together as a group, not as individuals in this one man-band mentality that we have as a people. Not this one man, this this one like the what was that movement on the civil rights movement. You shoot one guy and the movement's over. You shoot a couple key figures, the movement's over. You have to have a multitude or a number of men that are working together, that are collaborating, that have wisdom, right? So the multitude of the wise is what?
Is the welfare of the world.
Is the welfare of the world. What world? The world of Israel.
Okay.
The whole world is depending, our whole world is depending on, do we have the ability to work together? And when you're going to go into this chapter, you're going to read about multiple families from multiple backgrounds, from jeweler backgrounds, from perfume, apothecary backgrounds. Their kids are doing it. Their servants are doing it. Different classes are doing it. Israel has to come off their high horses and off their separation conditions and all work together as one nation to protect ourselves, right? So the scripture is showing that men that are competent, that know how to work together and that have the Most High's, favor. You can get a lot accomplished with a small amount of men as long as they have wisdom, right?
Okay.
Read on.
It says, but the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world.
What is welfare? What's the concept of welfare? Not the modern day concept of welfare.
Well-being.
The well-being, right? Or the condition.
Yeah.
The condition of our people is based off of what right now? Why is the condition of our people so low?
Not working.
There's lots of money. There's lots of resources. There's lots of quote-unquote advocates. There's lots of artists that make music about the struggle of our people. And a lot of people have $100 million in the bank, sitting in the bank, and they can buy Bugattis on deck. But men that have the Most High's favor, that have the people's a heart for the people, is few and far between. It's very rare to find people that love the Most High and they physically want to get their hands dirty and physically go help the people, not just well-wish. So the gathering of the wise, when men that have work ethic and competence and the desire to make changes, and they have the fear of the Lord because they have discipline in Christ, that small amount of men, that gathering of men, get a lot done. Read on.
Okay. It says, and a wise king is the upholding of the people.
And most importantly, you do have to have a central figure. You do have to have a one figure. Scripture says, though, what? Smite the shepherd and the what? The sheep shall scatter. Yeah. So we have a central figure as a people. That central figure is normally what? Assassinated. Yeah. Now we're looking in the politics right now. What's going on right now in politics? The attempted assassination of Donald Trump, right? And he has a MAGA movement. He's got a whole bunch of people to gather together under his concept. I'm not saying we're MAGA. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he has a lot of people grouped under his concept to take back, quote unquote, his nation, right? So what's the answer? Just assassinate him and get it over with. So they can go ahead and go back with the same status quo as usual, right? That condition now is no different than the condition then with Nehemiah. This is why I said, keep this secret, bro. Keep this low and keep this secret because people can't know I'm going to sit here and rebuild these walls. I have a connection to the king. You're opening yourself up for what? An assassination attempt. You're opening yourself up for political assassination, which is what people try to do. Nehemiah had, when you read the chapter, start reading the chapter, and especially in chapter 4, you're going to read that Nehemiah had adversaries. He had enemies. He had people that hated him. Why? Because there's people that hate us. But the upholding of the king is a what?
He says the upholding of the king is the upholding of the people.
So a strong, wise, competent king is the upholding of the people. Why does Israel fall to power, fall of our land, and get scattered? After David and Solomon, who were the most on point kings? After David and Solomon, who was the only on point king? Josiah. That was it. It was Solomon, David, and Josiah. We only had 3 competent kings in our nation. After that, the complete nation, generation by generation, dilapidated and got weaker and weaker and weaker, and more subject to the nations. Yeah. Read on.
Verse 25.
Oh no. In the actual reading, Nehemiah. So we know that what? Nehemiah had a few men with him, right? He kept this project secret for the time being. Read on.
Verse 13. And I went out by night by the gate of the valley. Even before the dragon well.
Even before the dragon well. The dragon well is a certain point in the area.
That's what I'm gonna get right now. Is try to show as we're reading along, so we can identify exactly where Nehemiah is at the time.
No, I saw the dragon well was outside. When you look at the diagram of the walls of Jerusalem, I saw the dragon well outside the walls of Jerusalem. I could be wrong. I saw it, but everything was strategically placed. When we built the nation, when we built Jerusalem, everything was strategically placed. You had the sheep gate, you had the dung gate, you had the horse gate, you had the old gate. You had multiple points of entrance into the city, and they were all strategically put in certain places. So you had the dragon well, and then you had the what? Read on.
And to the dung port.
And the dung port. What's the dung port? I would assume it's the place where all the dung is put out, right? You're bringing non-stop animals in the nation, right? Sanitation area. Read on.
And viewed the walls of Jerusalem, which were broken down.
And viewed the walls of Jerusalem, which were what?
Broken down.
So when the walls of Jerusalem broken down, this is why Shalom was going in. And we went last week about how lawless and wild and how chaotic and random and unprotected the whole area of Israel was. There's walls that are broken down. Any army, any nation, any group of barbarians can come through, or ruffians or thugs can come through and rob, steal, murder, and take people out, right? And take resources. Read on.
And the gates thereof were consumed with fire.
And the gates were what?
Consumed with fire.
The gates were consumed with fire. Now the difference is, this is the issue. How long has that city been in that condition? The people were living there, and this was commonplace. Every day you're waking up, every day these walls are broken down, every day you see this stuff, everything's burnt up around you, the walls are burnt up. This is a common, people have gotten used to living like this. What does that sound like?
The ghetto.
The ghetto, bro. There's nothing new under the sun. When you go to our neighborhoods, our neighborhoods are broken down, they're bad, they got glass in the street, you got pawn shops, you got abortion clinics. It's about modern day times, not then. We have abortion clinics, pawn shops, gun stores, a bunch of Korean-owned nail salons, Chinese food, where they're selling all kind of weird, strange, low-grade meats, right? You're waking up into a situation, you're seeing prostitutes, you're seeing you're seeing people with mental illness walk the streets with no real caretakers, and you're seeing gang violence. That becomes normalized because you're seeing impoverished conditions. So after so many years of living in Israel, we're going back home to rebuild the city. It wasn't rebuilt until they went home. They had been in that condition for tens of years. Well, these gates were burnt, and the walls were broken down. So what's happening? People got used to the status quo.
Right, and keep in mind, it took 23 years for the temple to be rebuilt. But there was a 14-year break between. It was a 2-year reformation from Ezra once he got the temple rebuilt, but the temple was unguarded. You still had these vulnerabilities because it was easily to be sieged. There was no walls, there was no protection. So although the temple was up, there's a 14-year gap in total by the time Nehemiah gets there. So for 14 years, you got lawlessness going on.
That's a normal, everyday thing. It's normal.
If you look at from a generation from the 80s to the 90s, and look how quickly things broke down out of the 80s, from breakdancing to the 90s, to the introduction of gangbanging, you can see how a society collapses in just 10 years. In the 10-year span, everything changes. Everything changed from the 70s to the 80s. Everything changed. Nothing was the same.
The 50s to the 60s was a complete difference.
Yep.
You have order and harmony, quote unquote, in the family structure. Then you got the people in the streets going against the government, fighting for rights, fighting for benefits. It's a different spirit.
Yep.
So you got to think about growing up in Israel. You go back home, and there's nothing to come home to. Not for stability. Read on.
It says, and viewed the walls of Jerusalem, which were broken down.
So now, I'm going to put this one map up. So
perfect. Yeah, that's what I saw.
Yeah. So he's telling you where he's coming in at.
Yeah.
So read verse 13. 13.
Nehemiah chapter 2 and verse 13 from the top. And I went out by night by the gate of the valley, even before the dragon well.
Okay, so if you see on the map right now, if you're looking online, if everybody's looking online, when you look at the west side of Jerusalem, you'll see the central valley, and then you see the western hill, and then right next to where it says Central Valley, that's going parallel to the western side of the wall, you'll see below the Tower of the Ovens, it says the Valley Gate. So this is where Nehemiah first came and approached and did an assessment of the condition of Jerusalem. Can y'all see that?
You talking about the one next to David's palace?
Yeah, the one right next to David's palace. David's palace is the gray square in the middle.
Okay.
Right next to that gray square on the western side, if you look online, that's the Valley Gate. That's where Nehemiah approached Jerusalem when he saw the condition. But what Nehemiah is doing, he's taking an assessment, and he's doing an assessment of the condition of Jerusalem. So he's got 3 days. He said he was there for 3 days, and so for 3 days he's scoping out, and he's getting some intelligence on the condition of Jerusalem. Remember, he's not telling anybody what he's doing. So this whole movement that he's doing, that he's about to pursue, is a clandestine movement. This whole movement is about to be done initiated under the cloak of darkness. Okay, we can't tell anybody because we don't want anybody to foil our plans. But he's confident in what he's about to do, knowing that he's about to take on a gargantuan task, a very huge task. So he's approaching the city at the Valley Gate right there. Yes, sir.
And then at the bottom is when it says even before the dragon well. Was that the dragon springs at the bottom?
Yes, that what you see at the bottom. I know it's hard to see because the writing's small.
Yeah, I can see it.
But he said even before. Let me expand it a little bit. See if we can. Okay, where it says the dragon spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the
calls.
yes, jackal. Now some of these locations, because of the amount of destruction that happened, they're hard to identify. But there was when you look at in total, there was 10 gates. It was 10 gates and 4 towers that had to be repaired. Remember, these towers were lookout towers, and the gates were heavily guarded to not just let any intruders in. So this is a monumental task to be able to go through and rebuild an entire wall around your city. It's hard to put a fence up at your house when your fence blow down.
Yeah.
Can you imagine building stone walls that are several feet thick and several feet high? When you look at even Rome, they say Rome wasn't built in a day, but the Roman walls were 33 feet high and over 10 feet thick. So you imagine when you're trying to protect the city, you're not just putting some plywood up. This is not like no sheetrock, no plywood, or some thin material that you're putting up as a wall. You're looking for maximum security. So in order to have maximum security, these walls got to be high, and they have to be impenetrable to regular engines, war engines, like catapult machines, like bow and arrows, like harpoons. So these things have to be impenetrable. So you got to make these things high and thick. So read on.
It says, and I went out by night by the gate of the valley, even before the dragon well, and to the dung port, and viewed the walls of Jerusalem, which were broken down, and the gates thereof were consumed with fire.
So when gathering intelligence in the military, they call this a salute report. Salute stands for size, activity, location, uniform, time, and equipment. Every military strategy, you need intelligence. You got to know exactly what you're up against and what you're about to prepare yourself for. Right? Read on.
Then I went on to the gate of the fountain and to the king's pool, but there was no place for the beast that was under me to pass.
So can you imagine the amount of rubble where the animal that he's on, whether he's on a horse or a donkey, where it can't have enough footing to be able to cross because everything is so collapsed and so broken down to where not even an animal could ride on it? That means you have to get off and get on foot. If it's that broken down, where an animal can't get any footing, so it's completely deteriorated. So he had to get off and get on foot. Read on.
And then it says, then I went out to the gate of the fountain and to the king's pool, but there was no place for the beast that was under me to pass. Verse 15. It says, then went I up in the night by the brook, and viewed the wall, and turned back, and entered by the gate of the valley, and so returned. And the rulers knew not whither I went or what I did. Neither had I as yet told it to the Jews, nor to the priests, nor to the nobles, nor to the rulers, nor to the rest that did the work. Then said I unto them, you see the distress that we are in?
He said, you see the what?
You see the distress that we are in?
Like Dawiyad explained, when you go to Miami, and you look at all the condos, and you look at all the high rises and the penthouses, and you see all the yachts, and you see all the beautiful boats in the channels, and then you go to the regular neighborhood where we live at, where Ephraim live at.
This is a major contrast.
Where Manasseh live at.
Yeah.
Where Levi live at. Where Benjamin live at. They are not in those high-rise areas. They are not. They've been gentrified, and they're not living in the wealth communities. When you go to New York, and you go to the Hamptons, and then you could see they got all white parties going on at the Hamptons. And then you go to Bed-Stuy, or then you go to Harlem. You go to anywhere where we are, Brooklyn, or Lower Manhattan. You go anywhere we are, you can see the condition. You go to Houston, you got the woodland areas, which is wealthy. You got high, expensive multi-million-dollar properties. And then you go to Third Ward, or then you go to Fifth Ward, or then you go to Trinity Gardens. Then you go to the areas where we live at, and then you see the condition. Same thing with LA. Whether it's Rodeo Drive or Sunset Boulevard, or you go to Hollywood, you got areas that are affluent, and then you go where we are, East Los Angeles, and then you see poverty. You go to Compton, you see poverty. You go to Cadena Gardens, poverty. You go to these different areas. Chicago, same thing. Detroit, same thing. You go to area San Antonio, same thing.
It's crazy, man. I watch Mason Cameron sometimes, bro. Mason made a comment. He said he was in Atlanta, man, and he this is a crazy contrast in his life. He said they were driving through a bad neighborhood, and Mason said, I don't know why it's like this. And his son said, he says, because niggas like you make money and disappear and go away, and nobody puts anything back. His son kept it real with him. Because he said after all, you know how many people make money in Atlanta? I'm talking just Atlanta. I'm not harping on Atlanta because we harping on Atlanta, but that's where the story took place. He said he was in Atlanta with his son, and they were going through and they're looking at, they live well. Mason lives pretty good. But they're going through these bad neighborhoods like, man, I don't know why it's like this. And the son just had to keep it a buck. He said, listen, because cats like you get money and leave and don't bring anything back. And he said after that conversation, he said, you know what? I think I'm going to try to do something when I get this opportunity. But it took his son to be like 15, 16 years old.
To be honest, man.
To be straight honest, to tell him.
Out of the mouth of babes, right? Shall spring forth knowledge, right?
So you see how disconnected we are? Yeah. It took his son to tell him that? Did he even get the thought in his mind? There's not that many men with the godly conscience, is the point, that have a heart towards the welfare of the people. That's why the Most High only elects a certain amount of men and a certain amount of guys that want to do it. It's not many that are willing.
But if you notice, they care enough. If you look at even upon hearing the condition of Jerusalem, Nehemiah cried and wept and fasted for 3 days. Even just upon hearing the condition, without even seeing it with his eyes. He's just now seeing it with his eyes. So the Most High elects those individuals that have a heart to restore the condition of their people. When you got enough love in you to care about your people enough where you don't want to see them living like this. Read.
It says, then went I up in the night by the brook and viewed the wall and turned back and entered by the gate of the valley and so returned. And the rulers knew not whither I went or what I did, neither had I as yet told it to the Jews, nor to the priests, nor to the nobles, nor to the rulers, nor to the rest that did the work. Then say I unto them, ye see the distress that we are in.
Notice he didn't say they. He could have stayed being a cupbearer. If you're a cupbearer for King Artaxerxes, that means you are living in and around and amongst the king. That means you have a high life and a noble life. He could have stayed in his comfort,
like our people do.
like our people do,
It's not like an option that people won't make. Our people will gladly take a better option.
and as soon as we get the opportunity, we're out of there. He said, "You see the condition that we are in." He didn't exclude himself in the poverty. He didn't exclude himself in the distress of his people, of his capital. Read on.
Can I pull scripture real quick?
Okay.
Real fast. Psalms 41 verse 1. Because this is the mind frame the Most High wants leadership to have. This is the mindset that gets men elected in the positions of leadership from the Father.
Psalms chapter 41 and verse 1. Blessed is he that considereth the poor.
The key point is consider. There's people that are in poverty, they don't consider their brother either way. We're in the same condition, and I still don't consider you. Let alone a person in a better condition, in a better circumstance, in a better class, without the distress of poverty and being under subjection to a higher degree. Guess what? He still maintained that godly conscience that transcended his social class. He considered the condition of his people. He considered the poor. Read on.
The Most High will deliver him in time of trouble.
So the Most High, because this man has a consideration, a heart for his nation, especially those that are not doing as well as him, Most High going to protect that person and look out for that person. Read on.
The Most High will preserve him and keep him
The
alive.
Most High will do everything in his power, which is all the angelic beings, all the protection, doing miracles, whatever it takes. He'll protect that man and keep that man alive because that man's worthy of life. He has a spirit of charity and consideration. And he has a compassionate heart, which is rare amongst the kings of Israel when you read our history. Read on.
And he shall be blessed upon the earth.
He shall be what?
He shall be blessed upon the earth.
And the Most High will keep a man in a good upstanding and a good condition because he's trying to invest in his people. Read on.
And thou wilt not deliver him unto the will of his enemies.
And thou wilt not deliver him to the will of his enemies. And when you read further on the book, you're going to read about Nehemiah having adversaries and enemies and people that were completely against him, as well as our nation. Read on.
Right. It says, the Most High will strengthen him upon the bed of languishing.
And so as things and events happen in this person's life, like we all have events in our life, Most High will always strengthen you out of the bad circumstance of the events in your life because you have that will to serve your people.
Right.
So always strengthen his servants. Those that have a desire to serve. Read.
It says, thou will make all his bed in his sickness. I said, Most High, be merciful unto me. Heal my soul, for I have sinned against thee.
Read on.
My enemies speak evil of me. When shall he die and his name perish?
So when you're in a position of leadership, you're not just going to have a laissez-faire, comfortable life. When you're in a position of leadership, you're going to have people that are opponents to whatever direction you want to go. To whatever kind of plan you're setting in, whatever kind of goals you have, whatever type of strategy you're going towards, there's all going to be adversaries towards the directives or your incentives. The incentives you're trying to set for your people. Read on.
It says, mine enemies speak evil of me. When shall he die and his name perish?
And that's it for that, bro. But I'm just showing the Most High is always with leadership that considers the impoverished. And he'll protect them no matter what condition they're in. This is why there was a need for secrecy. This is why there's a need for guards and protection. This is why there's a need for ethic and strategy that's based off being effective and being quick about what he's doing. Speed through safety through speed. That was it, such one.
No, that's it. I was just trying to airdrop something real quick, but it's all good. Let's continue back in Nehemiah.
Nehemiah chapter 2 verse 17. Then said I unto them, ye see the distress that we are in, how Jerusalem lieth waste, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. Come, and let us build up the wall of Jerusalem, that we be no more a reproach. Then I told them of the hand of my power, which was good upon me, as also the king's word that he has spoken unto me. And they said, let us rise up and build. So they strengthened their hands for this good work.
So anytime that you do a good work in the Most High, that you're writing or working a good work in the Most High, immediately you can expect what? Yes. What does Romans chapter 7 verse 24 say?
Romans chapter 7 and verse 21. I find.
Yeah, 21.
Romans chapter 7 verse 21. I find then a law that when I would do good.
He said it's guaranteed. He says I find that in a law. He said it's pretty much a law. It's guaranteed that when I would do good, what?
Evil is present with me.
He said evil is what?
Is present with me.
Showing what? Good and evil goes what?
Hand in hand.
They go hand in hand. Good and evil goes hand in hand. It's guaranteed that when you choose to do good and you have an idea and a notion to do right by the Most High, it's guaranteed that evil is right around the corner. For every step you try to take in a positive direction, in a forward momentum, there's going to be something to oppose you in your forward progress. He said it's a law. They go together. So right when Nehemiah has done an assessment of the condition of Jerusalem, right when he's getting ready to gather up the men and get momentum to say, okay, let's go ahead and take on this task. They're all in agreement. Everybody's hoorah. Everybody's on board. Then comes in who? Read verse 19.
Verse 19.
Not in Romans, but in Nehemiah. Yeah.
Nehemiah chapter 2 and verse 19. But when Sanballat, the Horonite.
Now this Sanballat, this Horonite, in Nehemiah chapter 2 verse 19, is a Samaritan official. So remember when the Samaritan, does anybody remember when the Samaritans got into Jerusalem? Does anybody remember offhand when the Samaritans came into Jerusalem? Okay, let's go to 2 Kings chapter 17 and read this real quick, because you got to understand who these people are. Because he said when they all professed to agree upon taking on the challenge, he said, then Sanballat, the Horonite, who are these people? Go to 2 Kings, and I want you to get chapter 17, and let's get straight to the point. Go to 22, just to get to the point.
2 Kings chapter 17 and verse 22. For the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, it says, which he did. They departed not from them.
Go ahead.
Until the Most High removed Israel out of his sight, as he has said by all his servants, the prophets.
Read on.
So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day.
He says, and he said they were carried away to what?
Carried away out of their own land.
Read.
To Assyria unto this day.
Read on.
And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cutha, and from Abba, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria.
It says these other nations came in and were placed and transplanted into where?
In the cities of Samaria.
So these Samaritans that are there are descendants of these Babylonians that were placed there during the split of the kingdom. So this has been since around 722 BC. So they had been there at this point for about 300 years.
Yeah.
They had been in Jerusalem for about 300 years, and like you said earlier, they had already held positions. They had legislative, political positions.
It wasn't just it's just empty.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Jerusalem coming in and there was nothing to protest. Nobody to protest. It had already been occupied for about 300 years with these Gentiles. So these remaining heathens that are there. These are the first initial people to oppose the rebuilding and reconstruction of the temple. So go back to Nehemiah chapter 2 and then read verse 19 again.
Nehemiah chapter 2 and verse 19. But when Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the servant, the Ammonite, and Geshem the Arabian.
So he's showing you these other nations that were transplanted into the land of Samaria. They weren't originally citizens, but they had been there. Read on.
It says, and Geshem the Arabian heard it. They laughed us to scorn.
He said they laughed us to what?
To scorn.
Read on.
And despised us, and said, what is this thing that ye do? Will ye rebel against the king? Then answered I them, and said unto them, the power of heaven.
You know why they asked them, are you going to rebel against the king? Because it was by Artaxerxes' power, by the Persian power, that they held their political position. So this is why they were afraid, and this is why they asked Nehemiah, are you going to rebel against the king? Because the king gave them the authority that they had in Jerusalem. So they were worried about their positions. Now initially they're laughing and they're mocking. Are you going to build down? They love our people in a condition of project living, broken down living, living check to check, scrounging, committing crime. We're objects of scorn and ridicule, and they justify oppression through our poverty. So the last thing they want to see is us being rebuilt. It's the last thing any nation wants to see is us being restored, because then there's no opportunism amongst and poaching of our people's resources. It's easy to poach our resources when we're broken down as a people. Yeah. It's easy. It's easy to sell us their products. It's easy for us to be dependent upon them for survival. But when we have our own and we're fully restored, then out goes the need to have the nations present. Then we're no longer marketable. We're no longer treated as a commodity and a dollar sign. But when we're broken, disunited, then we could be marketed. Then we could be commodified. Read on.
Verse 20. Then answered I them and said unto them, the power of heaven, he will prosper us. Therefore, we, his servants, will arise and build, but ye have no portion.
Now, this is where Nehemiah checks these nations. Nehemiah says what?
Yeah, ye have no portion.
He says you have no portion, meaning you have no inheritance in this land. Yeah. You are not a sovereign citizen in this land. You are not legally a citizen in Jerusalem. So Nehemiah knows their history. That's like a Edomite telling you how much of an American he is, while Gad, the real Native American, standing right next to him.
Yeah. Come on, you're illegal aliens.
Talking about you guys are poaching on my land.
Exactly. Get off my land.
Get off my land. Knowing the history, the last 300-400 years of how all of America has been robbed and stolen from the Native Americans. But that's like some European Caucasian saying, speak English. You're in America, Jack. Right. Like, oh, you want me to speak English, knowing that this wasn't an English territory. This was occupied and colonized. I know your pedigree. I know your people. I know where you come from. You're not the original people of this land. So this is Nehemiah having to check these nations and let them know, I know your culture. I know where you come. You've been there for 300 years, but you don't have no portion. You don't have no true inheritance in Jerusalem. Read on.
Then answered I them and said unto them, the power of heaven, he will prosper us. Therefore, we, his servants will arise and build, but ye have no portion.
You have no inheritance. What else?
No right.
You're not the rightful citizens of this land. Read on.
No memorial.
And neither will you be remembered as being the people of this land. Read on.
In Jerusalem.
So Nehemiah has to put these nations in their place.
That's a strong. He's making a strong statement, bro.
Yeah.
It's not just like he's trying to do a construction project and go home.
Nah.
He's put in a situation. Listen, you make this kind of statement, bro. You're offending multiple nations: Arabians, Ammonites. There's a whole list of Moabites, Ammonites, Arabians, and Ashdodites. That's 4 different separate nations.
Ashdod is Philistines. Those are Philistines.
You got. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So you got Philistines, Moabites, Ammonites, and Arabians. That's 4 different militaries, bro. And these are men of authority.
Yep.
And you got to do a project that's going to take time. And you got to do it with people that don't know how to work together.
Yep.
Yeah, you have a lot to do. Yeah, it's not an easy. This ain't an easy project.
Getting our people to come together is not an easy project.
God.
Getting our people to unify is not an easy project.
Yeah.
As you look at what he's doing what Paul said that we as ministers got to do for our people nowadays. Go to 2 Corinthians chapter 5, read verse 18.
Right. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 18. It says, and all things are of the Most High.
Go ahead.
Who have reconciled us to himself by Yahushua.
So it says the Most High is all about unity. When you look at the word reconcile, that word reconcile means to conciliate anew or to unite.
Yep.
That's what the word reconcile means, to conciliate or to anew or to unite. The Most High is all about uniting. And it says he's about the unity of us coming back to him by way of his son Christ. Read on.
And have given to us the ministry.
And he says he gave it to us. Our job as ministers is to what?
Is us the ministry of reconciliation.
What is our job as the ministers of Yahushua?
Reconciliation.
We got to reunite our people.
Okay.
And you know what that means? We have to pull them and fish them from different religions.
Yeah.
Or from no religion at all. Or from no belief in the Most High. Or from the Muslim belief. Or the Egyptian Egyptology belief. Or the Kemet idea. Or the Pan-African belief. Or the Haile Selassie belief. Or the Rastafarian belief.
Yeah.
It's our job to go in and pull our people back to the Most High. And reunite our people back to the Father. That's the ministry and the responsibility that we've been given. The Most High is all about unity. But you know how hard it is when you got different people that live by different philosophies? Who have their own form of religion and culture? Who say that I'm spiritual already? I don't need your Bible to be spiritual. Not realizing what it is that the Most High is trying to do. He's trying to bring our people back. And that's our job. We have the same job Nehemiah has, but on a spiritual level, not so much as a physical, but it's still very, very difficult. Whether you building, like Christ said, go to Matthew chapter 12 and verse 25.
Matthew chapter 12, verse 25.
Hold it. Let me get it. Yeah. Yep.
Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
You know how hard it is to get blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to come together? It's hard to get blacks to come together by themselves. It's hard to get Native Americans to come together. Esau used them against each other with warring tribes and enemy tribes. Issachar, all you got to do is give one citizenship and the other not citizenship.
Yeah, it's going to be...
And then it's the Issacharites versus the Mohawks.
Yeah.
Or the one, who have the same culture, who come from the same land, who share the same religion, or not religion, but religion too sometimes.
Yeah, I'm a citizen. I'm from this side of the river.
Music, grandparents from the same location.
Exactly.
But because you have an American badge and say you're a citizen and these people don't, you don't get along with them. You don't associate with them because those are supposed, wetbacks, so to speak. So you don't associate with them. Those are not your people. Knowing your grandparents come from the same area,
Same street.
same street, same town, same village, same state. But you give Issachar citizenship,
A benefit.
and they go at each other. Judah, you give Judah some stipend. You give Judah some money. You put Judah to sleep with a stimulus check.
That's it. You just imagine they get stimulus check.
That's all it takes Judah. Give Judah a stimulus check, and he'll forget about freedom and civil rights.
Cops killing him, everything like the cops.
Yeah. You'll quench all fire out of Judah when you give him some money. Show him some money.
It's true.
And the scripture tell you that.
What did Judah do? What did Judah do when it came to Joseph? He said, "We gonna kill him." It's like, no, we can sell him.
We can sell him, man. Yeah, we can make some money.
Judah said that, huh?
We're talking about with Joseph, right?
Yeah, bro.
He said, we're trying to make some money and get a payday out of this.
Like, yeah, don't kill him. We can get paid.
But that's Judah, though. It don't take much to put Judah back to sleep. Go to Genesis 49 real quick just to read that. What the Most High say about Judah. Verse 8, 9. Genesis chapter 49, verse 8 and 9.
Okay. Genesis chapter 49, verses 8 through 9. Verse 8, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise.
And you know what? Judah always be on the verge of a tipping point of overcoming their enemy, because their hand is in a particular place. Where is it? Read on.
It says, thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemy.
So when the nation starts burning, who starts setting the fires?
It's usually Judah.
It's Judah that starts setting the fires. When the Watch riot kick off, there's riots. When that Rodney King riot happened in '92, there was riots in every single city in America, but stemming from Judah. Issachar was involved in it too. Issachar was looting, shooting. Issachar joined right into they fit right in to the mayhem that was going on in LA. But they followed Judah. Judah being that head tribe, but Judah be on the verge of being at his enemy's neck. George Floyd happened, cities across the U.S. burning. Across the world actually caught fire. But Judah initiated. Read on.
It says, thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies.
Judah always got his hand in the neck of his enemy. And he'd be so close to seizing power. But what happened? Read on.
It says, thy father's children shall bow down before thee.
Read on.
Judah is a lion's whelp.
But Judah will get up and roar and make a bunch of noise and huff and puff and get something started. Read on.
It says, Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey.
It looks like Judah is about to overcome the prey. He looked like he's about to make a change and a difference. Million Man March. You really think Judah's about to make a huge difference with a Million Man March?
Get on the bus, brother.
Get on the bus movement.
Making movies about it. Sit here, t-shirts everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Talking about it.
Buying tickets.
Yeah.
Get on the bus. Read on.
It says, thou art gone up.
He said, we go up. Read on.
He stooped down.
And we stoop down like we're crouching, like we're about to attack and do a massive overthrow. Read on.
He couched as a lion and as an old lion.
He said, but like an old lion, what?
It says, who shall rouse him up?
No, he said, but like an old lion, what?
Who shall rouse him
Yeah,
up?
use a finger, bro.
Who's going to rouse him up? He said he couched it down, but as an old lion, what?
It says, who shall rouse him up?
So who going to get him up? Because he does what? He go back to sleep.
What do old lions do? What do old men do?
He says he couches as a lion. He stooped down. He couches as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? Showing he go back to sleep. Judah go back to sleep. He gets riled up. George Floyd, he gets riled up. Trayvon Martin, he gets riled up. Freddie Gray, he gets riled up. All these different scenes, and they get riled up like they're gonna do something, and they go right back to sleep. So especially as soon as you start talking about stimulus
I got some money. I'm getting money. I'm getting money. Like, oh, yeah, the juice man. He said the spirit, right?
Oh, did the juice man?
Yeah, he said the spirit of Israel, right? Or Judah in particular, because you hear about Israel want to go fighting the cops, arguing, rapping about it, rapping about taking their city back.
Fight the power.
You hear it in the
public
music.
enemy.
You hear it in the music and the people's conversation everywhere you go. You hear about it, and then you hear a jam. I'm getting money out, and all of a sudden, the whole oppression and all that's over. It's time to watch the Super Bowl. It's time to watch the championship. LeBron's going to go for the championship.
Well, the Essence Festival is coming up.
The Essence. I gotta
get me an outfit. I gotta get me an outfit for the Essence Festival.
Brother, that's our people.
Jazz in the Guard is kicking back up this year.
Come.
So I got to get my outfit ready for the 4th.
Yeah. You gonna be there?
You gonna be there? Yeah. We all these things put us back to sleep. And then after we go to sleep, the rest of the tribes go to sleep.
You're like, oh, I guess it's not that.
It's not that serious. I guess it's time for us to get some money too and get my PPP loan.
That's our people.
Get my PPP loan money. That's our people. We go back to sleep. So it's hard to unite people, but that is the ministry that the Most High has given to us.
Yeah.
But Christ said in Matthew 12:25, read that one more time.
Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
He said, when you got a kingdom that's divided, it will not come together. It will not stand. It can't stand when you have division. Plant some division amongst our people. The Willie Lynch Diaries. If you never read it, go get it. It's cheap, like $4. Go get the Willie Lynch Diaries.
But it affects you every day of your life.
But you'll see how this plan that Willie Lynch put together for his plantation masters was a master plan. And it's still effective to this day. Dividing by color, dividing by opportunity, by position. Put divisions amongst them. And it says you're guaranteed to have a slave for at least 300 years. And this cycle will remain unbroken. The Willie Lynch Diaries are like $4. You probably could download the PDF for free.
Okay.
It's no charge for that. But understand the mind of the people who conquered you. Understand the mind of the people who colonized you. All they have to do is put division between you. And you won't do anything. And you won't go anywhere. And you won't build anything. Read that again.
Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
Read on.
And every city or house.
It says it doesn't have to necessarily be as big as a kingdom. It can be as small as a house. When you break a house down, all you have to do is pit one family member against another. And guess what? How long is that house going to hold up if the heads of house are not in agreement? It don't take long. You could break down a house structure through division. You could break down a city with division. You could break down a kingdom with division. The old divide and conquer mentality. And that's an institutional method that has been used for years to keep our people separated. That's an instrument or a weapon to keep our people in a position where there's no forward progress. We have resources, but we do nothing with the resources. We don't do nothing with the resources. They don't go to the building of a nation, but other people's nations.
Yeah.
So Christ understands this. Our job as ministers is to bring people back to the Most High in Christ. We got to unite our people back. That's a very big task. That's a very huge task. We're asking for something great. It's very difficult when you got our people divided by religion, by culture. Now these transgender movements. There's just more. There's just more ways to divide us.
Well, there's a movement. We don't need men movement, right? But we don't need men. The sex. We don't need heterosexual men. They're making an exclusive attack against heterosexual men. They say we don't have a problem with the other guys. We need them, but we don't need heterosexual males. You see the concept? Anything that has godly, this is where it's going.
Yeah.
It's feminism, and then it's excluding. It's going into men, or it's going from feminism and lesbianism into the attacking of men. We don't need men, but now they're being more detailed. We don't need heterosexual men. These are the ones that are not needed. So, how do you produce families? You have to have a male and a female to produce a family. So what's the point? The point is they're trying to attack the nuclear family, which is what? Biblically based. These are just different political movements attacking the scriptures, attacking the application of the scriptures, attacking. They're saying now, this is trying to be projected in there. They're saying children are no longer property of the parents. That's an old concept. They're saying children should be property of the village, which is partially true. They said children are property of their members of the community. Therefore, they should be taken care of by the community. What they're trying to say, they're trying to decenter. Are they going to decenter men? Now they're going to decenter parenting, to where now the children are raised by the state. That's the goal.
And this is why Elon Musk just tweeted on X that he said, I'm done with California. He just said, I'm done. I'm moving the headquarters of X to Texas. He said, I'm done. Because the governor just passed a new law that takes away, restricts rights to the parent having to be informed of the child's gender. So he said, I'm done with it. He said, I'm finished. I'm moving the headquarters, getting out of San Francisco, and I'm moving to Texas. I'm moving all of X to Texas. That's where he's at. That's where his mind is at. But it's obvious what's going on. And it's obvious to know that how you break somebody down, you just divide them up. You divide them up, and there's no house, there's no city, there's no nation. This is what Nehemiah is having to face upon arriving in Jerusalem. He's having to face this. You got other nations there that have political position, that have say-so, that are granted by other authorities, by the Persian authority, over your land, and you have no control over your land, and he's having to check these spirits. So now that we got into kind of catching up to Nehemiah chapter 3, now let's go ahead and start Nehemiah chapter 3, verse 1.
Nehemiah chapter 3 and verse 1. Then Eliashib, the high priest, rose up with his brethren, the priests, and they builded the sheep gate. They sanctified it and set up the doors of it. Even unto the tower of Maah they sanctified. Unto the tower of Hananel. And next unto him builded the men of Jericho. And next to them builded Zakur, the son of Imri. But the fish gate did the sons of Hasanaah build, who also laid the beams thereof.
Hold on, let me see. I'm gonna put this map up. Give me Nehemiah chapter 3 verse 1 more time.
Nehemiah chapter 3 and verse 1 from the top. Then Eliashib, the high priest, rose up with his brethren, the priests, and they builded the sheep gate.
So, let me see if I can get the sheep gate on here. It says they builded the sheep gate. Let me see if I can find the sheep gate. Okay, I see the sheep gate. If you look at the map right now, the sheep gate is in the north. If you look online, look it up now where it says the prison gate and the tower of Hananiel and the tower of May, and then you see in between that you see the sheep gate. Now it makes sense that the sheep gate, that the priests rebuild the sheep gate, because what is the priest known for? What are their jobs? They're known for the sacrifice. So you see how this wasn't just these assignments weren't just taken by anybody. Nehemiah had the mind and the wherewithal to delegate authority and to strategize to where people's occupation made it easier for them to build that particular wall or that particular gate of Jerusalem. So it made sense that the priests build the sheep gate because that's where they bring in the sheep for the sacrifice.
And what do people need to see? The people need to see the priests gather together going to work.
Yep.
People have to see that for morality's sake, for morale's sake.
Yep.
Oh man, we got our sacrifice, our area of sacrifice getting rebuilt. Okay, it's on. That's a recharge for the people.
Yep. But especially when they see the leaders do it. When they see the people in charge lead by example, it motivates and inspires and incites other people to do so. You had a question?
No, I was gonna say too, just by them building that sheep gate, it's almost like that was like the first sign of hope. Like, damn, we about to start making sacrifices again. You know what I'm saying? We're about to start making sacrifices again.
Right.
That'll give people hope automatically.
Right off the jump.
Instead of building just the outside, you know what I'm saying, the walls and everything like that, the first thing that they worked on was the sheep gate. That gives them hope automatically. Like, damn, but we about to start making sacrifices.
Because what is the sacrifice for? It's to make an atonement and an offering for sin. Mm-hmm. And it's also to appease the Most High, to where you grant the Most High's favor.
Exactly.
And you're maintaining a relationship through sacrifice to the Most High.
Exactly.
So now your connection, you're plugged back in with the Father.
Right.
That's a great sign to see, and that's a sign of inspiration and hope.
Mm-hmm.
When you see a place of worship erected where you know you have a connection with the Most High, and you have answers from the Most High. Because he says in Romans 3, verse 1, it says what?
Romans chapter 3 and verse 1. What advantage then have the Jews?
He says, what advantage do the Jews have? Read on.
Or what profit is there of circumcision?
And what good is it for knowing that you're a Jew and you're a Hebrew and you know the law? What's the good of it? Read on.
Much every way.
He says in every single way it's positive to know that you're a Jew and that you have a commitment and a responsibility to honor the Father through his commandments. He says in every way. How so much? Read.
Chiefly.
He says most importantly. Chiefly means most importantly how? Read.
Because that unto them,
the Jews, read on,
were committed the oracles of the Most High.
You know what? One definition of oracles that I love is divine communication.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like Superman in a phone booth. When you have knowledge of the Most High and you have a responsibility to keep his commandments, you're plugged into your power, man. That means you have direct communication with the Father. You plug back in with your power source. You get answers, and it's like having dialogue straight from the Most High. The Most High is now your counselor. The Most High is now your tutor. Is now your instructor. So you have direct communication to the Father when you tap back into your power source. That's the beauty of being a Jew. No other nation has direct communication to the Most High but us. No other nation. So when you see those sacrifices going up, you see those animals being slayed, those are going up as a petition to the Father to be involved in our lives. We're petitioning the Most High to say, listen, we're in covenant with you. We're in compliance with you. We're in the contract with you. We're obedient to you. So therefore, take care of us. That's our way of pleading to the Most High for atonement and forgiveness of sins. So that's supremely inspirational when you look at what that does for our people when they see those sacrifices going up to the Most High, knowing that the Most High is back on our side.
And knowing that hasn't been done in a very, very, very long time.
It was a long time, bro. This whole temple reconstruction is a long time coming. This is a long time coming. You talking about the temple was built and it was initiated in 538 or 536, and it was finally built in 515. Took 23 years just to get the structure itself going. Not even the walls, just the structure up. Man, this is a monumental task to build this structure like this.
It shows how long. It shows that it takes everybody to do this.
Yep.
It's a united effort. It's not just a couple guys. It takes a whole nation's effort. Everybody has to get their hands dirty. Everybody has to be on point at the same time. Everybody has to have a mentality and a heart for the direction of improving and bettering our nation. Yeah. Everybody has to have. It's not like it's not a spectator sport. Is my point. Everybody has a hand in the rebuilding of the nation, and it's gonna take time. It's not okay. All I gotta do is just focus for 3 months. So I'm gonna lock in for 3 months, and then we'll be back on point. But this takes years. That means you gotta commit your life to it. It takes a life commitment. It takes a life commitment from all of the Israelites, the Most High, to defend us. That power of the power of. I know it's one of my main issues. When you say you're gonna do something but you don't, you say I get around to it. Oh yeah,
procrastination. That's one of my main issues right there.
They have apps for that now. They have apps for procrastination.
I am officially a procrastinator. I always say what I'm gonna do, and something comes up, and I never get around to it. I'll get to that. My own gate fell. It was falling on my neighbor's side of the house. I just watched it for like months. I'm gonna get to it this weekend. That whole fence was leaning over. His dog, I can see his dog.
Hey, you got this, brother?
His dog could jump over if he wanted to. Wow. But we all say what we're gonna do, but we say we'll get around to doing something. I'll get to it when I get to it. We all do that. I know I am massively a procrastinator. I say I'm gonna fix something, do something, get on top of this, get on top of that. And then the months pass by. So many months pass by. My neighbor, I just seen him rip up the fence and start putting new beams up. And then I come outside. Y'all need some help? Then I saw the fence falling. I know the fence was falling. I said I'm going to get to it. But that guilt kick in when you see them doing it, knowing that I could have been jumped on that fence. Y'all need some help? No, we got it. Like if I really wanted to help, I should have been on that fence when it first started swinging and falling and leaning. You know what I did? I put plywood as up against it, leaning against it to hold it up. I didn't repair it. I just put some wood up against it, try to hold it up in place, like a tent pole.
Yeah. Don't fall down.
Don't fall down. But man, that thing was done. Yeah. But you know what? That procrastination is real. When you say you see something that needs to be done and you walk right over it. And you step right over it. How many of our people living in Jerusalem watching the deterioration and the burnt bricks and the burnt walls, walking past it every day? Yep. Saying, you know what, we need to get that going. We do that in our own houses. You know how many things are broke in your house that you say you're going to get to and you have not gotten to it? I am critically guilty for that.
Or I'm a project.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. I'm going
to fix this. I'm going to do that. Let alone the vehicle. Right. You just ride till the wheels fall off. Because you say, I'm going to get to it. Then if something starts smoking and choking. Yeah. And then you're like, I got to get to it now. Now this is an emergency. This got to get done. You knew that had to be done. Yeah, but our people do that, man. I'm guilty of that. Extremely guilty of that. So you got our people that said, you finally got some men that is taking initiative to say, man, we're going to get this thing done. We're going to get this. Now Nehemiah has found men that have enough love and have enough care to accomplish this mission. Yes, sir.
I could just imagine how the people felt too, because going back to the sheep gate, the people who were doing it was the high priest and you had brethren that were priests. We had wicked priests too. So just to see the priests doing taking initiative to build the sheep gate for the sacrifices, man. That was probably
now we take it serious.
And now you know what, and I say this all the time, but that's what the Most High wants anyway. The Most High don't want somebody got to do something because they're forced to do it. Yeah. These men took initiative, and that's the way the Most High wants everything built. Go to Exodus chapter 25, verse 2. Let me get that file.
Can I hit a point before you get there?
God.
Real fast, Nehemiah. Before we get there, someone got a point coming out. I just want to harp on one point here. Just made real quick. Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 1.
Nehemiah chapter 4 and verse 1.
Yeah, Nehemiah chapter 4 verse 1.
Okay. Nehemiah chapter 4 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
But it came to pass that when Sanballat heard that we builded the wall.
They heard that we were starting to get this thing done, get some accomplished, get some momentum done. Read on.
He was wroth.
He was what?
He was wroth.
These nations were angry when we actually saw our people starting to get something done. When it wasn't just talk.
Yeah.
When it wasn't just a dream. It wasn't MLK's dream. Right? When actually something starts getting done and things physically get accomplished, they get raw. They get extremely angry. Read on.
He was wroth and took great indignation and mocked the Jews.
And mocked the Jews. Listen, bro, he has a real issue with this. Read on.
And he spake before his brethren and the army of Samaria.
So he's talking to his army. It's not like he's just mad solo. He's expressing his anger to his army. Read.
What do these feeble Jews? Will they fortify themselves?
Will they get strong for themselves? Will they get independent? Will they protect themselves? Will they get strong? Will they get strong households? Will they get back spiritual? Will they get back in order? Will they fortify themselves? Read on.
Will they sacrifice?
Will they what?
Will they sacrifice?
That's the second thing I'm angry about. For one, I'm angry that you're not spiritually crippled. And you're not in this dejected condition. And I'm angry that you're connecting to God. I'm mad that you're sacrificing the Most High. Why would other nations be angry that we're reconnecting with the Father?
That's right.
Because they know the Most High, once He steps in, they're done.
Yeah.
They have no chance against the Father. They like to see us smoked out.
Pants sagging down to your knees, with your drawers hanging out.
Drawers hanging out, dirty.
Yep. They love it. They love it because you're not a threat. You're not a threat to their posterity. You're not a threat to their culture. You're not a threat to their lifestyle.
And you know competition for their children.
Nope. But when you have fringes on, they ask questions. They don't ask questions why you got a white tee with some Air Force Ones on.
Why are you wearing those ones?
They don't ask no questions then. Yes, sir.
That feebleness is also a weakness of mind.
Yeah.
They like to see us in a weak mental state.
Of course.
Psychologically.
Yeah, psychologically broken. You're not a threat as long as you got your pants sagging.
Yeah.
You got on your chucks and your outfit on. They're not worried about you then. They'll just lock their doors a little bit.
Yeah.
They'll clutch the purse tighter.
Yeah.
But they're not worried about you as being a real motive to overthrow or take over anything or to change it. You're not going to change the dynamic of where they live at. But when they start seeing our people come together, like IUIC did, and when Kyrie was getting harassed by the media,
Okay.
and the owners of the Nets team. For one, he didn't want the jab, but then two, he said, "Man, I just posted a video." All he did was post a video that was already on Amazon. That's all he posted. Just posted a movie that was free to look at by anybody.
Right.
They have different genres all over Amazon, from horror to crime, mystery, documentaries. All he did was post something that he felt like pertained to him. And he was immediately attacked. So much that Stephen A. Smith said, "Man, that man needs to retire. Kyrie needs to hang it up."
And he's one of those monkeys. He's one of those monkeys, the master monkeys. Yeah. He's one of those, what's that show? Django or something like that? Django, yeah. I don't watch. I didn't really watch. I watched it, but I didn't. He one of those type of Uncle Ruckus dudes. Huh?
Uncle Ruckus,
He's Uncle Ruckus.
Yeah.
He's Uncle Ruckus.
But all he did was post a video and was completely attacked. Actually had to write letters of apology and had to be suspended from all teams played. His money got hit. Then they traded him. All he did was post a video. Then he had to make an explanation in front of the media about why did he post that, when anybody could post anything at any time, because it's free information.
Exactly.
But when you saw IUIC surround the Barclays Center in purple marching down, they was afraid. Who was those guys outside? Say, I don't know. Who are those guys? That's when it becomes a problem.
When they see advocacy,
when they say unity,
group advocacy,
that's an issue. That's an issue. But the Most High wants to see that. He wants to see us take initiative to that, to the rebuilding of our people. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He wants to see us rebuild. Who has enough care in their heart and love in their heart to rebuild their people? And he doesn't want to do. He don't want you to do it by force. He wants you to take that initiative. Go to Exodus chapter 25, verse 2.
Kind of. Exodus chapter 25 and verse 2. It says, "Speaking to the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering."
Go ahead.
"Of every man that giveth it willingly."
Stop.
Key point.
How does the Most High want every single offering and everything that we do for him? Does he want to twist your arm to read the Bible?
Nah.
Does the Most High want you to be forced to read the Bible?
Nah.
Does he want you to be forced to come together?
Nah.
Or should you rather take initiative to rather come together? He got to make you do something for his people and for him?
Nope.
You got to be told to show up?
Nope.
Or you already know to show up? See, the Most High wants everything done, what?
Willingly.
See, that's something that we don't remember. It's not something that the Most High got to hold. He got to hold your kids over your head. He got to hold your health over your head. He got to hold your finances over your head. The Most High got to hold all these things over your head. If you don't serve me, this is going to fall. We usually only want to come to the Most High when something that pertains to us is in danger.
It's time for the Lord.
And then once this thing is in danger, I got you. Once these things are in danger, health is in danger, money's in danger, stability is in danger, my back is against the wall in some type of way, then all of a sudden I have an obligation to serve the Lord. Why does it have to be when you're in a pinch?
Yeah.
Or when you're there's a threat amongst you? Why can't it just be, you know what, for the love of what we do for the Lord, for the love I have for the Most High, why can't I just offer myself and my services with a willing, open mind to the Most High without having to be forced? Read on.
It says, "Of every man that giveth it willingly with his heart."
It says with his what?
With his heart.
The Most High wanted to come from where?
From the mind.
From your mind, man. Not by somebody else's mind.
Not by force.
If somebody else got to tell you how to serve the Lord, then you really didn't want to serve the Lord. If somebody else got to tell you how to when to read the Bible, you didn't really want to read the Bible. If somebody got to tell you when to study, you really don't want to study. The Most High wants every offering done from your heart. Yes, sir.
1 Peter 5 and 2.
Let me see. Sounds familiar. Let me see. You said 1 Peter 5 and 2?
Yes, sir. I don't know if you want to hear it.
Yeah, that's good. I like it. Let's read it. 1 Peter 5 and 2.
1 Peter chapter 5 verse 2. "Feed the flock of the Most High which is among you."
That's good. Yeah, go ahead.
"Taking the oversight thereof."
It says taking the oversight. Oversight means I'm taking it upon myself. I'm being accountable on my own. I'm taking accountability and responsibility for the condition of my people. He says taking the what?
"Taking the oversight thereof."
Read on.
"Not by constraint."
Not by force. Not because somebody's making you do it. Read on.
"But willingly."
Read on.
"Not for filthy lucre."
And not for money because you got something coming in return. The Most High wants to see if it's sincere, if it's genuine. Not because you got some expectation of a payday coming. Or you see you're serving the Lord because you want the Lord to bless your finances.
Yeah.
You do it because you care. Read on.
It says, "Not by constraint, but willingly."
Go ahead.
"Not for filthy lucre."
Read.
"But of a ready mind."
A ready mind is a willing mind, an active mind. And that's the mind that Ezra has. The Bible calls Ezra a ready scribe. Nehemiah was proactive in taking it upon himself to go and get some men and stir up and come together and create a plan to come and rebuild the temple. He could have stayed where he was in his comfort, in the castle, or in the king's palace.
And not endanger his life.
Nope. Not suffer ridicule.
Yep. From
people. He could have stayed comfortable. Read this right here. He who does not.
Come.
This is a follow page 892.
892. He who does not offer to the Most High.
It says he that who does not offer. Read it one more time.
He who does not offer to the Most High first fruits.
He said your first fruits. What does the first fruits represent? Your tithes, right? The first fruits is the tithe. Is your tithes. Your tithes. Your tithes, which is the 10th. It's the first of what you produce. That means that whatever I get in, whatever I receive, the first of what I receive, the very first fruit of my crops is given to the Most High. So I put the Most High what? First. He says, whosoever shall not what?
It says, he does not offer to the Most High first fruits.
A lot of our people put the Most High where?
Last fruits.
Last fruits, bro. I'll get around to serving the Lord when I can, based on my situation.
Or the worst fruits. Just I'll give them the beat up fruits.
Yeah.
Fruits I was gonna use anyway. I might as well get it to somebody. It's like the Most High wants Goodwill or something like that. Like it's a Goodwill situation.
Yeah, hand me downs.
Yeah, I'm never.
I'm not using it anyway, so I'm gonna give the Most High what I really don't use anyway. What doesn't have a real value to me. Doesn't have a real value. Your first fruits is what comes off the top. See, a lot of people don't put the Most High like that in mind. Like, man, everything I do, the Most High got to be first. Let me take care of the Most High's business first, then I'll take care of my business. The Most High's priority. Read.
Of his own free will.
It says, for those men that don't want to offer to the Most High the first fruits of their own free will, read on.
Does not really offer first fruits at all.
What does that mean?
Listen, bro. First fruits, the whole concept of first fruits is willingness. If you're giving your first fruits out of constraint and because you look bad or because I don't want to get cursed, that's just religion under that condition. Well, I'm doing this because I don't want to get cursed. I don't get stung. I got to do it. But if a man gives the first fruits out of the spirit of willingness, that shows true compassion, love for the Most High. So if you give your first fruits, but the mentality behind it isn't a first fruits mentality, then it's really not first fruits. It's eye service. Eye service is doing something because it's in front of the sight of people.
It's man pleasing.
But your heart's not really there. I don't really want to do
it's man pleasing.
I don't really want to pick this trash off the ground. I'm just doing it because you're looking at me.
God.
Kind of like how kids are when they're doing chores. When their parents come in the room, all of a sudden the room starts to look a little bit better because their parents is there.
Yep.
But if the parents weren't there, that room would be dirty as hell.
They don't take initiative. It's under the threat of something happening or something going wrong.
God.
When it's under that threat, then I'll do it. But he says if for those men that offer first fruits and it's not willingly, it's not really first fruits at all. Read on.
It says, even if he brings everything, which is great, with a most royal abundance of
says,
treasure.
Even if he brings everything, which is what?
Great.
With what?
With a most royal abundance of treasure.
Even if a man say, you know what? Wait till I get this big check that I'm expecting to come in.
Wow, that's a big one.
Let me make sure I solidify this big check. And I wait till income tax come, and guaranteed when my income tax come,
I'm gonna turn up.
I'm gonna show out with my income tax. I'm gonna bless the Lord with my first fruits when I get my income tax. But I gotta wait till I get some real serious money coming in. Then I'll give the Most High something even that much more, fantastic.
I'm gonna slam the big domino.
Yeah, big 10 on the board when I get my check. Or wait till I get some extra money coming in. Then I'll give the Most High more. Or I'll wait till I got some extra to say I'll give the Most High more. He's saying, but when somebody decides to bring even a large treasure, but it wasn't off the top, It wasn't a matter of priority. It was a matter
of good first.
It was a matter of excess. Wow. How does he view it? How is it viewed? Read on.
It says, for the real first fruit.
It says, for the real first fruits. Go ahead.
Consists not in the things offered, but in the pious disposition of him who offers them.
So he's saying real first fruits comes from the respect that you have for the Lord by putting him first, even if what you did put was small. So showing that the power of a tithe or the power of a first fruit, it really means something, even if it was a small increment, but you still put the Most High first, than saying, well, wait till I get this big check, then I'm going to bless the Most High with something larger. Then it really wasn't a first fruit. Then it was a fear. Then you were still in a sustainability mode. Let me sustain myself first. Then once I'm sustained, once I'm taken care of, then I'll put the Most High on the back end, and then I'll give what I have to the Lord. That's really not a first fruit, because your disposition, which is your mental capacity, or the power to think, your thinking ability, you didn't use your thoughts to put the Most High first. You said, I'll get to the Most High when I get to him, but I'll double up.
He's last on the list, but I'm not gonna.
I'm gonna pay it back bigger. I'm gonna pay it back bigger once I do. When I decide to get around to doing it, I'll pay the Most High a larger sum.
I'm procrastinating on the Most High.
That's not a real first fruit. That's not from the heart. That's not sincere. So when we're watching what Nehemiah is doing, Nehemiah is initiating this group of men, and he's got them believing on a project that's a very big project. It's monumental, but they're buying into this project, and they're deciding out of their own free will to come and be responsible and accountable for these particular areas of these gates. And they're coming out of their own resources. They're using their own resources to do this. Go back to Nehemiah chapter 3.
Nehemiah chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, Then Eliashib, the high priest, rose up with his brethren, the priests, and they built the sheep gate. They builded the sheep gate. They sanctified it and set up the doors of it.
So, man, what we're talking about is not like some doors that some plywood, pressed wood, particle board doors. You're talking about gates of a city where you don't want people to invade. Where you have these gates have to be a certain size and dimension and thickness to provide extra layers of protection. These aren't regular gates that we're talking about. These gates are made out of heavy wood and stone and iron, because they're supposed to be for protection. This is not something small. So this is why what he's asking for is not something small. It's not like, hey man, we'll be done by this afternoon. It's only going to take a couple of hours and we'll be done. Man, this is going to take a commitment. And if anybody has been in a camp, and it could be in any camp, you know how hard it is, how most camps, most schools start out of people's houses.
Yep.
The first class I ever went to in the truth in San Antonio was in a brother's one-bedroom apartment. That was the first class I ever been to.
Yep. True.
The brother believed enough where he said, we don't have a school, but I'm gonna turn my apartment. He was divorced. He was recently divorced. As a matter of fact, he wasn't divorced. He came in the truth and his wife left him. So he turned his because she didn't want to follow this life. This brother turned his apartment into a school. And that was my first class coming in. Was walking into a brother's one-bedroom apartment, and the living room had 1970 school desk in it, elementary school desk in it, with the little cubby at the bottom, with the cubbies on it. The whole living room, there's no living room furniture at all. It was a podium desk, or office desk, against the wall, where normally a TV console will go. And then there was about 25 school desks in the living room. And that was my first class. But it took a man to say, hey, listen, man, turn my house into the school. Turn my apartment into the school. For anybody that understands how camps are initiated, it usually comes from somebody's free will. it usually comes from somebody choosing to live uncomfortable and put the Most High first, and their lifestyle be made uncomfortable for the sake that the teaching continues. Now, whether or not we appreciate the sacrifices, I didn't see it till later on that this man didn't have to take his whole house and turn it into a school. And then when we finally did get a school, it was a very extensive process. From that time that I came to class, that one time, I stopped coming to class because it really didn't hit me enough. I came back a year later, and brothers had moved out of that apartment and had got a building off Guadalupe Street. And it was a laundromat. It was an old laundromat that brothers bought that still had all the pipes and the holes and the drains in the floor. And it was a bunch of young men with no education that took it upon themselves to lay down concrete and fill up plumbing holes. Matter of fact, there was a bathroom in the middle of the laundromat. So where the school was at, when I first came back to class, the school had a bathroom in the center of the sanctuary. So if you had to use the bathroom, you are literally in the sanctuary. It was a male and female bathroom in the center of the sanctuary. And then eventually, and there was no AC. There was no AC and there was no heat. So in the summertime, you are sweating. If you in Texas, you understand how hot it gets. You are sweating. It's hotter indoors than it is outdoors. You are sweating as you flip pages in the Bible. Your Bible is drenched with sweat because there is no AC. There's no resources for an AC. And in the wintertime, it was certain days class had to be canceled because there was 130 in the school. 130 in the school. And then it had holes in the ceiling where you could see outside. The roof had holes in it, so when it rained, it leaked. You got sweat and water coming in. Then in the wintertime, there was no heat. It was so cold, some days class had to be canceled because you're reading scriptures and you can see your breath coming out. You can see smoke coming out your mouth as you read scriptures because there was no heater. But it took men that believed in what they were doing, and this is on a small scale. I can only speak from my small experience.
But I'm wood beds, right?
Brother, but the school before that, during the war's time, they didn't have no AC and heat, and they slept at the school, and they slept on plywood, homemade plywood beds, and they had no toilets. They had buckets because the sewage was bad. Every time they flushed the toilet, the sewage would back up into the school. That was really the first school on the east side. Kawakab and the war can go into the details in that. That was before my time. That condition was even worse. You had wooden beds in the school. You had sewage backed up into the school. And so there was a lot of times the sewage didn't work. And it's not meant to be graphic. The point of it is, it takes sacrifice to build anything. How can you expect it to be built if you don't do nothing to build it? It's going to take your effort and what you have to offer out of your resources and to build anything that you believe in. You think other people are supposed to build it and then you reap the benefits of it? How is that equal? How is that fair? That you just reap the benefits of what other men's sacrifices have brought to you and you're just supposed to enjoy the convenience of it, but put no sacrifices towards it? How is that right? It's not right. And that's why the scripture said, but by an equality, that their abundance may be a supply for your want, and your abundance can be a supply for their want. That's equality. That's the way it's supposed to be. When you read Acts chapter 5, that's how the church was built. Everybody sold what they had and brought it down to the feet of the apostles. And let them distribute it to those that have need. That's the way it's supposed to be. But what we're watching right now, we're witnessing in Nehemiah is the upstart and so of a small body of believers that believe in the restoration of the temple of the Most High, and so they're going all in on that restoration. They're not holding back their resources. Initially, read on.
Nehemiah.
Yep.
Nehemiah chapter 3, verse 1. Then Eliashib, the high priest rose up with his brethren, the priests, and they builded the sheep gate. They sanctified it and set up the doors of it.
He said they sanctified it, they cleansed the temple, and they put the doors up. Read on.
Even unto the tower of Mea, they sanctified it unto the tower of Hananiah.
Now, if you watch on the screen right now, you watch how they're actually rebuilding the temple. They started with the sheep gate, then they went to the tower of Mea. They're actually building the gate counterclockwise. So they're going around counterclockwise, rebuilding the temple one at a time. Read on.
It says, verse 2, and next unto him builded the men of Jericho.
So you had different men, and you had different men taking different positions, obligated to certain areas and doing certain tasks. Read on.
It says, and next to them builded Zakur, the son of Imri. But the fish gate did the sons of Hasanah build.
And if you look on the map right now on the screen, you can see the fish gate, which is 3 gates down from the sheep gate. So they're going in a counterclockwise. They started north and they're going west, and then they're coming back down the west side to southwest side, back around. And this is the direction that they're going to get this temple rebuilt. Read on.
But the fish gate did the sons of Hasanah build, who also laid the beams thereof, and set up the doors thereof, and the locks thereof, and the bars thereof. And next unto them repaired Meremoth, the son of Urijah, the son of Kaz. And next unto them repaired Meshullam.
And you know what? This cuts me, because I had a damn doorknob in my house that, so if you pull it too hard, the whole doorknob come off. But procrastination hit me again. I mess with that. I lived like that with a doorknob that was convertible, that was detachable, for a year before I decided to change the damn doorknob. So you got to look at. This hits me because I watch stuff be broke, and it takes me a long time to get it done. Versus having the mind frame, when you see something broke, why not just fix it?
Just take initiative right then and there, right there.
Why not? Why watch something be broken for a long time? Yeah. That cuts me, because I live like that, where I had the damn doorknob in my hand if I pulled it too hard. Then I had to put it back on, but I would never just put the damn screw.
But you master the art of just kind of like,
you got to touch it the right way.
Tickle it.
Yeah, you just
tickle it.
Just turn it lightly and smoothly. Don't pull it too hard. Don't yank it. And so the doorknob don't come off. Yeah. Anybody can actually just pull the other side out and easily get in the house. But you know what? I live like that because I didn't take initiative. But you got to take initiative. You have to have a desire. Yeah. And that's why I'm bringing this out, because you gotta have a desire to want to see things better. If you're okay with watching things be broken around you, you'll never take initiative. If you become desensitized to broke things,
status quo. That's why I went about earlier. The nation had that. Listen, everything's been burnt. They're living in a burnt city, and it's been like that for a very long time. Why am I supposed to sit here and make myself uncomfortable and then I gotta sit here and change the whole routine? We've been living like this for a good 20, 30 years, bro.
You know why? Because if nobody else gonna do it, why should I? And that's what a lot of us wait on. We wait on somebody else's initiative to spark us to be motivated to make changes.
You don't care, I don't care, bro.
But if I don't see somebody else make changes, I'm not gonna make changes. I'll just live in a broken environment. And I'll be conditioned to be okay with it, and I'll just work around whatever's broke as if that's the way it's supposed to be. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. You know what it takes to fix something? It takes a lot of initiative and care. And it takes a lot of sacrifice. And it may take hours, days, months, and years.
And I have to have the ability to find joy in the change. I think Israel doesn't necessarily find joy in the change enough.
Because it's work. Restoration is work. You watch these house fix and flop or fix, whatever these damn HGTV shows are, fix it and flip it. You watch they get these houses that are damn near
Dumps.
to the studs. They're not worth anything. They get bare houses that are just barely worth the land that the house is on. And they go in and tear down walls, rip up molded floors, take down old drop ceilings, that popcorn ceilings. And you give them a couple of months with some excitement. They got a new TV show my kids watch where they got 8 hours to fix the whole house.
Oh, that's gonna be cool.
They got in 8 hours.
Like a rush, like a little.
Yeah, they surprise. They pick a family, and a family member drives the family away, and a whole crew of 100 people.
That's crazy.
Come into the house. They do landscaping.
Oh man.
They tear down walls. They create new rooms. They tear down kitchen counters, sinks, tubs, toilets, bathrooms. They rip up the whole house. They transform the whole house completely inside and out, and they do it in 8 hours. And they do it with a crew of 100 people. And then you're watching the show how one person is quarterbacking different teams. You got different teams. You got teams on the kitchen. You got teams in the bathroom. You got teams in the bedroom. You got teams outside in the lawn and garden. You got different team managers, and then you got one person that's like, hey, we got 10 more minutes. This family's gonna be home. And when the family shows up, they're in tears. They don't even know that's their house. Whole new structure, whole new color, whole new paint, whole new kitchen, whole new floor, whole new bathroom, and new furniture.
New sense of morality.
New design. The whole family be in tears. Kids be in tears. Mom be in tears. Dad be in tears. Because they say, you know what, we tried our best, but we didn't have enough resources to make the house the way we wanted it. So we just got accustomed to living like this. Then they gotta face the embarrassment of the fact that they had no power to fix the situation. But it just took somebody. The show is great. My kids watch it. I start watching it because I'm like, man, if people have enough ingenuity to come together, only if people believed in something. Only if people believed in a project, how much could we come together as a nation of people if we all believe in the same project? How great would it be if all of Israel came together and started restoring our communities using the commandments of the Most High, eliminating the gang violence, eliminating the drug use, eliminating the false doctrines and the false narrative, and eliminating the criminals in the community. But first, the change has to be from within. You got to want to see restoration in order to believe in it, in order to buy into it. Read on.
It says, and next unto him builded the men of Jericho, and next to them builded Zakur, the son of Imri. But the fish gate did the sons of Hassenaah build, who also laid the beams thereof, and set up the doors thereof, and the locks thereof, and the bars thereof.
You gotta make these things. They don't come out. No, there's no, good. There ain't no store. You just gonna go to the store and let me get a couple beams, a couple locks. These things have to get made.
But it's expensive, bro.
It's expensive.
If anybody don't go to Home Depot or Lowe's, you know how expensive building materials are.
Yeah.
I was just talking to Quatazop. He had to do some remodeling in his bathroom, and he said, "Man, I came out with one bag. It was $100, and it was just one little bag, just on some wood hardener,
Wow.
and some sealant." Like, man, you go to these stores, you getting your count drained to get some wood, to get a project made.
And it keeps going up.
They charge $300. I'm trying to build a homemade little fruit garden bed to plant some sweet potatoes. I said, you know what? Instead of me just making one, let me go buy one that's prefabbed. They got a prefab garden for $300 that's only like 5 feet by 4 feet. I walked right out of there. I said, man, I might as well go find some wood on the side of the highway or find wood on the side of the road or something and build it down for $300 for a 5 by 4 on a prefab little garden that's only 1 foot off the ground. Not even 1 foot off the ground. You know how expensive they're selling materials for? How expensive bricks are? Lumber, wood, plywood, OSB wood, sheetrock. This stuff is expensive. You can't build. You have to have more than one person involved in order to build this kind of project. It takes a whole nation to buy into this in order to get this done. Read on.
Right. It says, verse 4. And next unto them repaired Meremoth, the son of Urijah, the son of Kab. And next unto them repaired Meshullam, the son of Berechiah, the son of Meshezabeel. And next unto them repaired Zadok, the son of Baanah. And next unto them, the Tekoites repaired. But their nobles put not their necks to the work of the Most High.
It said, but the who?
The work of their Lord.
But who?
It says, but their nobles.
What verse you on?
I'm on verse 5.
Read that one more time.
Nehemiah chapter 3 and verse 5. And next unto them, the Tekoites repaired. But their nobles.
It says, but their nobles, the elite class of Jerusalem, of this particular family, this particular ruling class family, he says, but their nobles did what?
Put not their necks to the work of their Lord.
Sometimes when you get in a position where you've been sitting in a seat of authority too long, you feel like, you know what, I don't get my hands dirty.
Yep.
I don't do manual labor is beneath me. This is the first account. This is the very first account of some elites that don't want to go to work.
Yep.
You had the priests jump in the game first.
They already set the example.
They set the example. But now you got people that are trying to choose and say, well, I don't do that. That's why it says the kingdom divided against itself, a city divided, a house divided will not stand. It takes belief on all behalves.
And the crazy part was, I was doing some reading, bro, and it said that they didn't like the fact that they had foremen over them, telling them what to do. It wasn't. Yes, they were lazy and slothful, and they didn't want to touch work because they're too good for that. But also, they had an issue with the men telling them what to do.
What is that called?
Pride.
That's pride, man. A lot of times, pride will prevent people from getting dirty. You know, when that comfort, that when you look at what Josephus said about the Egyptians when they set taskmasters over us in Egypt, one of the reasons why Egypt began to be grievous to us, it says because the Egyptians grew effeminate.
Yeah.
You can read that in Josephus.
Yeah.
It said they grew effeminate where they were allergic to hard work. Mm-hmm. They were allergic to, not physically allergic, like they'll break out if they touch some work, but allergic meaning they had an aversion to work. They didn't want to do work. That's not something that I believe in. I believe in being an elite, but I don't believe in doing work. That's a problem. Especially when all hands need to be on deck.
This is for your nation.
This is bigger than you. It's bigger than you. But even when something is bigger than us, we still want to pick and choose how much effort we give to it.
It doesn't matter. I'm not going to let him tell me what to do.
God,
who's this dude?
That's a crazy point you brought out.
That's the truth. They're like, listen, bro. Not only were they slothful, but greater than the sloth was the fact that I have this mere foreman telling me what to pick up and what to put down. And I'm of a higher social class than him.
You know, that means...
How dare this man tell me what I got to do? Well, you don't know what to do. You don't do construction, buddy. You haven't done construction for a good 20, 30 years.
If ever.
If ever. So he has to tell you. And it happens this way all the time. Israel will have a more skillful, more responsible person over him. But because I'm older than this person, or I come from the hood, or I come from New York, or I come from this city, Israel finds the most extreme reasons why not to submit and get something accomplished for the nation. Well, he's a different skin tone than me. I think he's weak. I don't like how his speech sounds. I don't like how he talks. I don't like his accent. He can't tell me nothing.
Man, that's crazy.
That's the mindset of the nobles. Right? Extreme pride. And they're using this person that's over them. They're looking at the weaknesses of the guy that's over them as the reason why they don't have to go to work.
And this is why even last night's class, where Christ said, "I thank you, Lord, that you haven't revealed this to the wise, but you've only revealed your will to babes, because babes are impressionable. They believe and do what you tell them to do. But when you get people in the positions that feel like they're calloused, or they're You know, that's not my. You know, I'm positioned to where I don't have to do that.
That's not my type of work.
That's not my type. You can't do nothing with these men. The scripture says you can't put new wine in what?
Into an old bottle.
Into an old bottle. He said the bottle must be made new. He said because the wine will make the bottle burst. What does that mean? That means the bottle can't handle the new information. He said neither do you put a new patch on an old garment. Why don't you put a new patch on an old garment? That's what Christ said. Why don't you do it? He said, but the rent shall be made worse because the fibers of the new patch, the fibers are tight. They're most recently woven together, so they don't bend, they don't give. The old garment is already stretched. It's already loose. So if you put that new tight patch on that old garment, you're just going to create a bigger problem because the tightness of that patch, the fibers, the tightness of that fiber,
match.
It will pull on the garment, on the old garment. Then you got a bigger hole. So it's the same way with information. When people are conditioned to only think a certain way, it's hard to introduce new thoughts and new material and new concepts to them. Because they've conditioned their mind to only receive certain things at certain rates and at certain paces. Because outside of my pace, I don't want somebody to make me move outside of my pace. That's why I wouldn't want taskmasters over me, or I wouldn't want, like you just brought out, because I don't want nobody moving me from my pace.
Mere foreman. They call him mere foreman. You're just a foreman, bro.
Wow.
You gonna tell me what I gotta do? Hey, can you get over there? So I'll get there when I get there.
Yep.
What? You see everybody. There's 41 sections of this wall, and all the groups are doing their job. But the group with these nobles at, he had a hard day. He had a hell of a day working with these guys. I don't have to tell them what to do. I'll do it at my pace when I want to do it. Because some people are rich in social status, but some of these people are rich in opinion. And based on my opinion, I will move at my pace when I want, where I want, how I want, the way I want. And if I decide to do it, if I agree. That mindset is why nothing gets accomplished.
To know if our people agree, all you got to do is give them a time frame. Be here at 10 o'clock. Then you'll know if they agree or not.
Sure.
Be here at 7:30. Give them a time. Then you'll see if they agree or not. Because if Esau was giving away some backpacks before school start, Israel will be there. If there's food drives and giveaways and backpack giveaways and school funds giveaways, Israel will be there. If there's something that we really want, we'll show up on time. We won't forget it. We'll put it on the calendar. We'll make a note of it. Hey Siri, remind me on this day to be here at this time to get these free stuff, these free clothes from Old Navy, these free uniforms for school. You know, our people will pick up some vouchers in a heartbeat.
Yep.
We pick up some free supplies in a heartbeat. But when it's time to do the work of the Lord, we want to do it at our pace. We want to do it on our time frame, on our schedule.
It connects to that first fruits mentality.
It does connect to that first fruits mentality. Here's the first time that now it's bad enough that Nehemiah is already receiving static from the nations. Now he's got kickback from amongst his own people who have already initiated the project, who've already started the project. Now he's getting kickback from within. This is a lesson to show you not everybody's going to be believing in what the mission is.
No matter how noble the mission.
The mission is great. It's a godly mission. It's not even based upon selfishness. It's made so that the Most High could be a protector and a source of strength for our people. But that's not what I want to do. I had something else going on.
Christ went through the same thing.
Second Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 6. Yeah, after this verse.
Next week.
Okay. Adam, we'll get you in on this right quick after he read this.
Second Thessalonians 3 and 6.
Yep.
right here. 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 6. Now we command you, brethren, in the name of our Lord Yahushua, that ye withdraw yourselves from every brother that walketh disorderly.
Because some brothers don't believe. Some brothers are only brothers in name.
That's crazy.
Some brothers are not brothers in sacrifices and in belief. He said, but for those that walk disorderly, read on.
And not after the tradition which he received of us.
Not everybody's going to buy in to what propels and progresses the nation. Read on.
For yourselves know how ye ought to follow us.
He says, because Paul is saying we set the tone. We set the example. We laid down a foundation that's worthy to be followed. Read on.
For we behave not ourselves disorderly among you.
And he's going to explain what he means. Read on.
Neither did we eat any man's bread for naught.
You know what that means? That means what he's talking about is being a taker, not a giver. A lot of men are recipients of what the Most High has to give, but they're not givers. We know the scriptures say the Most High loveth the cheerful what? Giver. It's better to give than receive.
Okay.
So what he's talking about is in the nature of how men choose what they choose to offer and what they not choose to offer. They want materials, they want resources, they want support, but they don't want to put into the support. He says that's not the example that we laid down. Read on.
Okay. It says, neither did we eat any man's bread for naught.
Read on.
But wrought with labor.
He said, but what we took or what we used, he said we produced it with what?
Labor.
He said we worked. Although Paul is an apostle, he said what we ate and what we got from the people, we earned that. We didn't just take and not give or not restore.
Or extract with religion.
Yep.
Or use religion to extract resources off of people.
Use my position. He said, man, we earn this with what?
Labor.
With labor. So we're justified in using these resources. But most people in elite positions are not justified because they'll take but they won't give. They'll receive but they won't offer. They'll expect but there's no return. Read on. And that's what makes it unjust. It's one-sided.
What's the point of me doing this? I'm not getting anything out of this.
Yeah, everybody knows how it feels to be in a one-sided situation. Read on.
But wrought with labor.
He said, well, some people, he said, for those that are disorderly, they don't want to work. Read on.
Okay. And travail.
He said, man, it not only was it with labor, it was with danger. It was with peril. It was demanding physically. It was hazardous labor. Read on.
Night and day.
He said we work night and what?
Day.
Read on.
That we might not be chargeable to any of you.
Because nobody's going to say you're a hypocrite. Because that's the spirit of a hypocrite. To prove that, go to Matthew chapter 23. Start at verse 4.
Matthew chapter 23 and verse 4.
Start at verse 2.
Verse 2. Saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat.
He said, and the problem that Christ got with the Pharisees that are sitting in Moses' seat is an analogy for the seat of authority. He says the Pharisees sit in the seat of authority. Read verse 28.
Verse 28. Even so ye also outwardly appear righteous.
He says the problem that the Christ had, Yahushua had with the Pharisees, is on the outward appearance, they look what?
Righteous
to men.
They look righteous to who?
Unto men.
But what?
But within ye are full of hypocrisy.
He said, but on the inside they full of what?
Hypocrisy.
And now let's go back and explain what this hypocrisy is. Finish that in 28.
Verse 28, it says,
hypocrisy and what?
And iniquity.
And this is the hypocrisy that he's talking about that Christ had a problem with. Now read verse 4.
Verse 4. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne.
He says what makes them hypocrites is that they'll put a whole lot of work on your shoulders.
Yep.
They'll put all these expectations over you of what you must do.
It's about you lazy.
And what you got to perform.
Come.
And what you got to produce. Read on.
And lay them on men's shoulders.
And lay those responsibilities on men's shoulders. Read on.
But they themselves.
It says, but they themselves, read.
Will not move them with one of their fingers.
It says they won't lift anything, not even with one of their fingers. But they'll expect you to do the work. That's what makes a hypocrite. Is that it's an unjust expectation. And it's extremely one-sided. That I expect you to produce, but I don't have to produce. I expect you to work, but I don't have to work. I expect you to give, but I don't give. That's the problem that Christ is having with these Pharisees. Is that hypocrisy. And this is what Paul is defending and said, man, we're not going to be chargeable by anybody, especially pertaining to hypocrisy. Because the things that we demand from people, we do ourselves. We lead by example. We go to work daily. You gotta lead by example. That's the best form of leadership. You gotta do the things that you're telling people that they must do. That's what justifies a leader. That's what justifies you demanding something from somebody. It's unjust if you don't do it yourself. It's unjust if you're telling people to make changes that you don't want to make. Then you're not justified. Finish that at Thessalonians. 2 Thessalonians chapter 3.
Yeah, we in verse 9 now. 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 9. Not because we have not power.
Paul said, man, we got power. He said, if I really wanted to, I could extract the benefits of the church and use my position to reap the benefits. Read on.
But to make ourselves an example.
He says, but we don't do this because we don't want to be hypocrites, and we want to lead by what? By example. And an ensample is a living, breathing example. That's what an ensample is. It's a living example. That's what justifies leadership. It's when you're a living example to what you practice what you preach. Read on.
But to make ourselves an example unto you to follow us.
He said we laid the example so that you know what to expect. That's why you saw us working. That's why Paul said you saw us working, because we wanted you to understand that this is what leadership looks like. Leadership goes to work. They don't just demand and not offer and produce. Read on.
Right. It says, for even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat.
That's why Paul says, you know what? Dawiyad has some information that he found about economic parasites, right?
Oh, yeah.
You still got it?
In the International Bible Encyclopedia. Let me look it up real quick.
Yeah, I want you to bring that out real quick. Because this is something that Paul is saying, man, you're not going to find us guilty of this. You know what it is? If not, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Come. Verse 11.
But you can just speak on it, because I know you found it.
Well, listen, bro. It was talking about the problem they had in the church.
Yeah, specifically with the church.
This is the problem with the church, bro. They said this is the old church. We have it in the new church, but especially in the old church. It said that there's the problem they had was there was economic parasites in the church. People just gathering people for the purpose of making them wealthy. If y'all notice, if y'all remember, at least Judites probably should know, most pastors were ex-pimps. Y'all remember that time period? 80s and 90s? Majority of the pastors were ex-pimps from the 80s era and the 70s era. Gave their life to God, and they went and became pastors. And then a couple of them were interviewed, and they said, well, listen, I'm not doing what I used to do anymore, but I still have a gift. I still have an ability to touch people with my speech. And I don't think there's anything wrong for me to give people hope and portion for me giving hope, get something back in return. It's a retirement plan. Once you get tired of dealing with recruiting and having to brainwash and train and break and give work ethic and invest and build relationships, they come and they go. They say, well, I'm tired of this life. You know, it's time to put a suit on. The same suit he had for about 7 years straight. The same suits, the same boots. I'm going to go here. Same Jerry curl. I've had curls back then, right?
Mm-hmm.
And right on the east side, you know what? Now it's time for me to change my life, give my life to God. That's what they do. And they write books about it too, from Pimp Stick to Pulpit. That's a famous book by Bishop Don Magic Juan. But the point we're getting to is, it wasn't just him doing it. It was a mass movement of these guys doing it. Now the question is, why did they do it? If there wasn't any money in it, then they wouldn't do the job. A lot of these ex-Masons, or a lot of these not ex-Masons, current Masons, they get these mega churches because it's a business. Church is looked at as a business. It's not looked at as saving souls and building people. It's a business.
And tax-free, too, at that.
It's a tax-exempt business. They have private banks for churches. But even with white churches, it's the same thing. It's a business. The point we're getting to is this elitist mindset and this money-hungry mindset. It turns from we're trying to help people to I just want my bills paid, bro. And I don't want to work no more. Men grow effeminate, right?
Yeah.
So when you're reading in the Standard and Bible Encyclopedia, it was an article. It said, Paul said, there shall no longer be an economic parasite amongst the Hebrews. When he was building his churches.
Paul was making sure that he rooted them out.
Yeah, listen, and they didn't like that. With good leadership comes adversaries. Because people don't get to extract benefits off of people, whether it be labor or finances. Some people don't have finances. I need some free labor. I need some hookups. So what happened was, he was building his churches all throughout Asia Minor, and it was a big conversion from the priesthood era. The priesthood era had collapsed, and now in the era of the church being raised up. Now in the era of the camps. Now it's the era of the camps.
I want to prey on single women.
I need a rib. I definitely need a rib. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and learn how to teach the Bible. And then you get these side camps. A lot of times these side camps, little small camps, bring your rib to the small camps. You're gonna lose your rib in the small camps too. I got a lot of reports about that because there's no organization, there's no camp structure, long-standing camp structure. So when men get the idea of power and authority, it gets to their head. They want to have leverage over your women. Recent statement for that is Pastor Dow in Texas. I think it's in Texas, wherever he's at. I think it's Texas. Pastor Dow, he had his number 2 man, and his number 2 saw his rib leaving Pastor Dow's housing area at 11 at night, 12 at night. Then all of a sudden they have a big council, and we have to get this guy out of the camp. He has to leave. We have to make sure this number 2, the number 2 that rode him the whole time, he needs to leave the farm because Pastor Dow has a big farm. And the game of that camp was everybody goes to work and everybody gives their check to Pastor Dow. And then Pastor Dow, once a month, will give you $215 to take your wife to go to the big city and go have a good time. So I'll make sure your friend goes and they go have a good time and enjoy each other's company and go take a break and then come back and then go back to work. But they go to work at factories and their check goes back to Pastor Dow. It's like the nigga version of communism.
Yeah.
It's really what it is. Everybody's benefiting this one guy. But what's the point? Paul foresaw this mindset that's in men, that men are economic parasites. That's why he said if you don't work, you don't eat. That's the standard law. That's the rule of the church.
It has to be that way. Because that's how you root up takers and not givers.
So it wasn't just to say that, but that concept, I had read that like a year ago. I wish I knew this concept before, because I should have studied it a long time. I didn't really pick it up before. But when you see all these church deviations and all these policies and rules of the church changing, a lot of these rules and policies are behind economics. It totally kills the message of the Bible and makes it about just making money.
Houses break down because of economics.
Exactly.
Families break down because of economics, let alone nations. Now we're dealing with nations. The nation is being hindered. The progress of the nation being restored is being hindered because of some people want to work and some don't.
I could be working on my own farm. I got money.
Yep.
Why am I going to sit here and extract or sweat and exhaust myself for what somebody else needs when I could just do it for me? I know I'm a Jew, but I'm not really religious. I'm not really into that God thing. I'm just a Jew. There's lots of people that don't believe in their God like that, but even Muslims are. There's Muslims that they drink alcohol. You're not supposed to drink alcohol as a Muslim. They live their life as a regular person, but every couple of years they'll go do some sacrifice to Allah. That's in every nation, bro.
Yeah, but what happens is our people will hide and disguise ourselves amongst the regular flock as one that's there for the cause.
Come.
And so when you put that kind of labor and you put that expectation of everybody giving at a certain rate, then you could kind of start seeing who's sincere and who's not. Because I tell you this, in San Antonio, we don't have the expansive congregation that some Israelites have. We don't. But a lot of what we do, there is a lot of work involved. And it's not a shameful thing, but it's hard to be fake and insincere. But you're going to have some people in every congregation that don't buy in completely. And that's just normal. Matthew Henry talks about it, that in every congregation you got some that will give at different rates. Not everybody will believe at the same rate. Not everybody want to put in at the same rate. But here we're reading the first instance in Nehemiah where people are saying, I don't do that and I don't want to do that.
And listen, people are getting human trafficked because there's no walls. People don't care about the cost. It's not about the logic of the. This is for your own safety.
Right.
Remember, Church was breaking down last week and the week before that. Listen, people were getting human trafficked and robbed and murdered in broad daylight.
Yeah.
Because there was no walls. And now it's time to build a wall. You have an opinion. It shows how selfish people can really be. It's for their own benefit, and I still don't care.
Yep.
Because you make me feel inferior. Because you're telling me what to do. Because I'm above you on social class.
Finish that in verse 11 down to 15, and then we're going to switch readers out. 2
Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 11. For we hear that there are some which walk among you disorderly.
Read on.
Working not at all.
Working what?
Working not at all.
Why is Paul bringing up work-related situations amongst the church body? And it's critical to have this discussion about labor and work in the church. Because some people pick and choose what they want to do. And some people don't want to do anything. But they expect the benefits of the church. But they don't do anything. They don't bring nothing to the table. Read on.
But are busy bodies.
He said, but they do a lot of busy work. They do a lot of running errands and doing this and doing that and hitting here, doing this, going here. They're doing a lot of, they're busybodies. They look busy, but they ain't doing no work. But they got a lot of things that they're touching, and they got a lot of top spinning, a lot of things going on. But work is not something that they're committed to. He said there are busybodies in the church. Read on.
It says, verse 12. Now them that are such, we command and exhort by our Lord Yahushua, that with quietness they work and eat their own bread.
Now for them, they don't get to eat off of anybody else's plate. He says they got to do their work and they got to eat their own bread. You don't get to reap the benefits of everybody else that's putting in X amount of work. You're responsible for your own bread. Because your pace is you pick and choose what you want to do. So it'd be unjust to eat what everybody else is producing from when you don't want to give little to nothing. Read on.
But ye, brethren, be not weary in well doing.
He said, but for those that are working, he says, be not weary in what?
In well doing.
Read on.
And if any man obey not our word by this epistle,
go ahead.
Note that man.
Read on.
And have no company with him.
Read on.
That he may be ashamed.
Because it is a shame that some people don't want to put in the same amount of effort and work when they see the monumental task at hand. When they see how gargantuan of a task it is to build a church from the ground up. To build a center of belief and hope from the ground up. Read on.
Verse 15. Yea, count him not as an enemy.
But the thing of it is that brothers is still a brother. Don't count him as an enemy. Read on.
But admonish him as a brother.
You still correct him. Admonish means to mildly correct him as a what?
As a brother.
So you have to incite and motivate our people to work. Our people need to be incited and motivated to go to work. It's not in them already to just want to perform labor that they don't necessarily agree to or feel comfortable doing. But they need admonishment. But some brothers need admonishment. All right, with that, let's go ahead and switch it out. Adam, let's go ahead and finish up. Right, you know what you got to do?
Adam Shaw Shabbatah, Banya Hawada, Banya Sharala.
Adam, Shaw Shabbatah, Banya Hawada, Banya Shala. Imagine. Brought. Yahweh Shem Shabbatah.
Yahweh Shem Yoshai Barakathon.
All right, Yahweh. All right, we're going to pick back up in Nehemiah chapter 3. And we're going to pick up at verse 6.
Nehemiah 3 and 6.
Give some spirit.
Moreover, the old gate repaired Jehoiada, the son of Pashah, and Mashallam, the son of Bashodiah. They laid the beams thereof, and set up the doors thereof, and the locks thereof, and the bars thereof. And next unto them repaired Melatah the Gibeonite, and Jordan the Moronathite, the men of Gibeon, and of Mizpah, unto the throne of the governor on this side of the river. Next unto him repaired Uzziel, the son of Nahariah, of the goldsmiths. Next unto him also repaired Hananiah, the son of one of the apothecaries.
Now you see, these are different men with different skills and trades. You look at there's a book called From Babylon to Timbuktu, right? And I'm pretty sure we all read in the chapter where it says that when Israel went into Africa, right, in the Central Africa, they had goldsmiths, they had lawyers, they had doctors, they had tax collectors. We had an organized society. We weren't just a bunch of people walking, just a holy goulash of people with no skill sets. Even this time period, we had men that have multiple skill sets. This family's goldsmiths, this family's apothecaries, meaning that they're doing concoctions. Apothecary could be for medicines, the creation of medicines, or the apothecary could be for the creation of perfumes. But they get plants, they crush plants and extract the most vital essence of the plants and use those essences for medicines like a pharmacist, or use those essences of those plants for, a
remedy, like a tincture?
Like tinctures, making balm, making different balms for skin, for different anointments.
Infections.
For different confections. They're getting plants and creating confections, so they deal with herbalism. So you're seeing different backgrounds of different people making themselves uncomfortable doing labor that's not consistent with their familial. Back in the day, if your dad was a blacksmith, the son was a blacksmith. If the dad was a welder, the son's a welder.
The family trade.
It's a family trade. You got men that are in different trades, putting their trade down, and willing to commit to a different type of work. That shows. Well, there was bad examples of elites and people that had money and people that had, opportunity and people that had stature. There was, the Tokites were bad examples. They got put in the Bible. They'll never be forgotten as those bad examples. But they were also right under that. They were good examples. Going back to the point Judge Juan brought in the class earlier, where good is evil is what? Present. Evil is present. Well, there's some people that don't want to sacrifice and make themselves flexible and adjust. There's other people that are willing to sacrifice and make those personal adjustments. And that's a blessing. We got to focus on the good examples and mirror and emulate the strong examples. Like the priest who built the sheep gate and got to work first to be examples for the nation. That example was patterned by who? By Paul. Paul saw that example in the Old Testament. So we got to mirror that. We got to build our new schools, our new churches off that example. It's always about finding the stronger example and patterning the strongest example possible. That pleases the Lord.
Yep. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8.
Malachi 3 and 8. Will a man rob the Most High?
That's why the Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 asks the question, will a man do what?
Rob the Most High.
So we have to understand what robbing the Most High is. What does it mean to rob the Most High? Read on.
Yet ye have robbed me.
The Most High believes that men rob him. Read.
But ye say,
But we say what?
wherein have we robbed thee?
Lord, how have we robbed you? What are you talking about? We rob you. How? Read on.
In tithes and offerings.
What does the Most High constitute as robbery?
Tithes and offerings.
Because remember what that first fruits is. The first fruits comes from what you produce and what you generate off the top. Do you choose to take the first of your increase and turn that into a tithe or a tenth to give the Most High off the top? Is it in your heart to do that? Or you get around to do it when you decide? He said, but this is how we rob the Most High. He said, in tithes and what?
Offerings.
Read on.
Ye are cursed with a curse.
He said, because we rob the Most High in tithes and offering, what does the Most High say our condition is?
Ye are cursed with the what?
With a curse.
The Most High said your condition shall fail because you choose to hold back what the Most High asked as a requirement. Read on.
For ye have robbed me, even this whole nation.
So does the Most High take tithes personal? Yeah. Yeah, he takes tithes and offerings personal. He said, you rob me and you rob who?
This whole nation.
You rob your people. Every time you hold back from giving what you can and putting the Most High first, you're taking a piece from the Lord and you're taking a piece from your nation.
Wow.
You're taking something from both of them.
You don't like words up.
No, that's serious, bro.
Because it does say thou shalt not steal.
That's why
We just think of stealing as, oh man, I took a candy bar, man, and I made a little move. I hit a lick. But that Ten Commandments is also showing you can't not contribute. You can connect those two concepts. If you're saying robbing him in tithes and offering is robbery, which is still stealing and thieving, and the Ten Commandments say thou shalt not steal, it's the same concept. What he's saying is you have to contribute to your people, to the Most High, and to your nation. That's the background thought behind that scripture. It's not just I took some gum out the gum machine and nobody saw it. It's I have to contribute in general.
Yep. Read on.
Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse.
That's why I said bring all the tithes into what?
Storehouse.
For what purpose? Read.
That there may be meat in mine house.
So the Most High's house got to be what?
Taken care of.
It's got to be first. It's only how many ways can you not comprehend this? That the Most High has to be priority. And if he's not, then we're robbing the Most High. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 14. And just to show what this is. Start at verse 22.
Deuteronomy 14:22. Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed.
He said, this is a commandment. Thou shalt truly tithe what?
All the increase of thy seed.
All the increase of your what? Your seed. So then all your crops, the first fruits of your crops must be a tithe taken out of that. Read on.
That the field bringeth forth year by year.
And if you decide to give the Most High his, he'll make your field constantly produce. He said your field will produce year by year. He'll make sure that he's perpetually increasing what you have to produce to survive. But it's okay. He'll do that because he knows that you're still going to put him first no matter what. Regardless. Read on.
That thou shalt eat before the Most High thy power, in the place which he shall choose to place his name there.
Go ahead.
The tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thine oil, and the firstlings of thy herds.
When it comes to cattle, oil, wine, corn, whatever you produce, he said the firstlings of it. Read on.
That thou mayest learn to fear.
He said, what does the tithe really represent?
Fear.
It represents what? Fear what?
Respect.
The Most High.
That you fear the Lord. That's really what the tithe represents. So when you don't tithe, you don't give the first fruit, you don't what?
Fear the Lord.
You don't fear the Lord. Tithe is a representation that you fear the Most High. That's what it represents. That you got the fear of the Lord in you. Read on.
That thou mayest learn to fear the Most High thy power always.
All right, we got that point. Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 10.
1 Corinthians 1 and 10. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of Yahweh Shai, that ye all speak the same thing.
And he said, Paul is saying, I beg you, by the name of Yahweh Shai, that we all do what?
Speak the same thing.
That we're all in agreement.
Same page.
We're all on the same page. That we all agree to the building and the restoration of the Most High's temple and his people. Read on.
And that there be no divisions among
Because we read earlier, divisions, like Christ said, breaks down a kingdom. Divisions break down a city. Divisions break down a household.
That's the reason why we didn't have a temple in the first place.
Yep. We want to worship other gods. Read.
But that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment.
So what a church body looks like is that everybody's on the same page. That's what a church body looks like. Everybody believes in the same level of commitment, in the same mission, and the same goal. We're putting forth the same effort and making the same sacrifices. That's the identity of a church body. That's the expectation of a church. And we're just watching this in Nehemiah, how some men are choosing to believe in this and some men are withdrawing themselves from it. But for the most part, most men buy into this theme that we're going to restore the temple of Jerusalem and build these walls. Now let's go back to Nehemiah chapter 3 and let's continue in verse 8.
Nehemiah 3 and 8, latter half. And they fortified Jerusalem unto the broad wall. The next unto them repaired Nehemiah, the son of Hur, the ruler of the half part of Jerusalem. And next unto them repaired Jediah, the son of Hermath, even over against his house. And next unto him repaired Hattush, the son of Hashbanah. Malchijah, the son of Harim, and Hashab, the son of Hathamoab, repaired the other piece in the tower of the furnaces. And next unto him repaired Shalom, the son of Peliash, the ruler of the half part of Jerusalem, he and his daughters.
Now that case was unique because he was the only person or family that brought his daughters on site to work this construction job. So he stood up out of all the people. Well, the one that stood up the most was the Tokai side. They didn't want to go to work. But this man bringing his daughters in the picture, you know what? Maybe he only had daughters. But the noble thing about this man is whatever he believes in, my whole family's going to believe the same thing.
Man, manual labor, bricklaying, carpentry, laying stones and doing ironworks for gates and locks and beams. That's hard work, bro. Yes, it's.
We just put new carpet in, and that the mat itself is so heavy.
Just the weight of it.
And just you can't even stretch it. You got to do inch by inch.
Yeah.
Just to move it so you don't tear it because it's so heavy.
And imagine that's just carpet, but carpet when it's rolled together is heavy. Just when it's rolled tight and the bundle is heavy. That's why you got to use a knee kicker and you got to use carpet stretchers to lay down carpet. Or if you lay down tile, if anybody that laid tile down before, laying tile is heavy. One little pack of 10 towels, little box of 10 towels, is about 55 pounds, 60 pounds, 40 pounds, depending on the size of the towel. And you got it one by one on your back. It's back-breaking work. It's back-breaking labor. Building walls is out of stone, bricks. These are women doing this, like Nehemiahs bringing out. This man brought his daughters here. That's how much he believes in what they were doing.
We gonna come out here. Y'all gonna come out here too. We all gonna build this. We gonna build this temple. He got his daughters out there building the temple, and on the same contrast in the same building, you got some dudes that got all this money and wealth out.
Who's elite?
Silk robes out.
Won't touch a stone.
They don't want to pick something up. But you look on the other side. You're here doing work, and you look up, and you see these girls doing the work. That's a major contrast, bro. Like, you're being effeminate, bro. If they can do it, you can get up and do it too. What it's showing is men's examples make other men uncomfortable. That's why it's important for all men to give the best example they can, because you know what? There's no shame in another man being more productive if you're giving your best effort. Because the scripture says there's going to be wood, stubble, hay, right? But also what? Gold, silver, and what? Precious stones. There's different calibers of effort. But for a man to bring his daughters out there, it shows he was sold to have his teenagers. I don't know how old they were. I can't say that.
But they were women nonetheless.
They were women out here doing.
The women aren't even built for that, to do manual labor like that.
But they're out there getting the manual labor done. That kills all excuses for the lazy guys that don't want to get up in the morning.
Yep. Ecclesiastes 3:18. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 18.
Yeah.
Sirach 3:18. The greater thou art,
The Bible says the greater thou art, what?
the more humble thyself.
You're supposed to be more what?
Humble thyself.
The greater you are in position, you're supposed to be willing to reduce yourself even the more. Why would some women outclass and outshow some men who know better already, who have understanding, who are already in an excelled noble position? He said the greater you are, the more you're supposed to be a servant. Read.
And thou shalt find favor before the Most High.
And the Most High will bless you because you have the capacity to be flexible. You shouldn't be in a position of authority and you grow so confined and fixated in that position as to where your pride tells you you can do nothing else. That's all you can do. But when you're flexible, he said the Lord will bless you for that flexibility. For the fact that you can reduce yourself to low positions regardless of where you sit in stature. Read on.
Many are in high place.
That's why I said many are in high place. Read on.
And of renown.
And they're well known. Read on.
But mysteries are revealed unto the meek.
But the Most High only deals with who?
The meek.
The meek, man. The ones that can reduce themselves and be patient under affliction. They're the ones that get the real mysteries. But a lot of people can't humble themselves, especially the higher up they go. There's that aversion. I get that aversion. Knowledge puffeth up.
Yeah.
No, that's for you to do. That's not for me.
I'm better than that.
I don't do that.
You're wasting my time.
Read on. Now let that go. Go back to Nehemiah
3:13.
3:13.
The valley gate repaired Hanan. In the inhabitants of Zaniah they built it, and set up the doors thereof, the locks thereof, and the bars thereof, and 1,000 cubits on the wall unto the dung gate. But the dung gate repaired Malachi, the son of Ruphah, the ruler of
All right, this dung gate, right?
Okay.
Where's it at? Let me pull this up. What verse you on?
14 middle.
Okay, read it one more time.
Okay, from the top. But the dung gate repaired Malachi, the son of Ruphah, the ruler part of the Beth Hakarim. He built it and set up the doors thereof, the locks thereof, and the bars thereof. But the gate of the fountain repaired Shalom, the son of Kolas, the ruler of part of Mizpah. He built it and covered it and set up the doors thereof, the locks thereof, and the bars thereof. In the wall of the pool of Siloah, by the king's garden, and onto the stairs that go down from the city of.
Now, if you look online right now, you can see that where we are in the organization of the different teams, and the way that Nehemiah has structured and delegated the authority of the building, we're already at the bottom and at the south of the walls of Jerusalem. He says, by the dung gate, by the wall of the pool of Shalom, and the fountain gate. So if you look online right now, you look all the way south at the bottom tip of Jerusalem, you'll see where they are now in progression of how they're attacking this project. They're attacking this project in a counterclockwise position, and right now we're already at the bottom of the gate in the restoration process. Read on.
After him repaired Nehemiah, the son of Isbhpk, the ruler of half part of Bethsor, unto the place over against the sepulchres of David, and to the pool that was made.
So right here, the sepulchres of David, you can see on the map where it says the tomb of David. Right at the black square near the king's pool. So he's showing you how these particular men have made it all the way around and are ready to circumnavigate the walls, and they're at the tomb of David. So it's showing you that this was a process, and it took time, and everybody had to be involved. Give me Ephesians chapter 4 verse 16.
Ephesians 4 and 16.
Mm-hmm.
From whom the whole body fitly joined together.
It says the Most High, He puts the body together, and He puts everybody together like a human body. Like everybody has different members and different aspects that do different operations on your body. The eyes are for seeing, the ears are for hearing, the tongue is for tasting. The ears don't do the tasting. The tongue does the tasting. The eyes don't do the hearing, the eyes do the seeing. He's saying that in a church, it's situated very similar to how the Most High has composed the human body. Every different person or different member has a different operation and a different duty. You have to come into a church body and trying to figure out what is the best suited position and functionality that you can be in. When I came into the truth, I know for me, I didn't know where to go, what to do, and what to be. So for me, I made it my duty to clean the bathroom and to mop the floor. That's what I made my duty. Because I didn't know, I was brand new to the knowledge. I was brand new to the truth. So I made just whatever the thing that I knew how to do, that is my job. So because I know how to sweep, I know how to mop, and I know how to take the trash out, that will be my duty and my obligation. And I'll be the best sweeper, and I'll be the best mopper, and the trash can will always be cleaned out. And I made that my duty until somebody else came in and took that duty, and I was given a duty. And I was told to do something else. But I came in with a broom, volunteering for a broom and a mop. And I made that my obligation. And you got to come in asking yourself, where do you fit in? Where could you be best utilized in this body that is assembled of different components? Read it again.
For whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplied.
And everybody depends on each other. Yes, you bring a benefit to the table, to the body of Christ. Sometimes you just don't know what benefit you bring to the table. So you got to come in, if you don't know, you got to come in volunteering yourself, asking yourself, what can you do and what do you know how to do? How can I be of service? You have a service. You have an obligation. You have a duty that can be done.
I have a skill set.
You have a skill set, and there's some value to what you can do and offer. But if you don't know, you can ask. Or you can come in knowing, okay, this is what I can do. Because this is what I know how to do. If you know how to serve food, then you should know how to come in, wash your hands, prep your hands in the sanitation, and serve food. If that's what you know how to do, fine. Then be the best food server you can be for the camp. When I lived at the brother's house, I didn't know what to do at the brother's house. Brothers already had positions. I was on trash. Every morning I had to get up at the brother's house and go walk the brother's house yard and pick up any trash that blew into the yard overnight. That was my duty. Go pick up all the trash and make sure there's no trash in the yard. And then I moved up to the lawnmower. That was a raise for me in duty. I moved up to the lawnmower and started cutting the grass at the brother's house. I didn't have a particular duty, but I tried to make myself useful. That's how everybody should be when it comes to putting themselves with a body of believers. What can I do? Where could I be used at? Because everybody's dependent on each other. Finish that?
According to the effectual working and the measure of every part.
And he's going to explain what that looks like. Go to Romans chapter 12, verse 4.
Romans 12:4. For as we have many members in one body.
He says, just like you got many members in what?
One body.
He said, you got feet, you got hands, you got elbows, you got knees, you got legs, you got glutes, you got back, you got abs. You got shoulders.
Got wrist.
You got wrists. You got biceps. You got forearms. You got the neck. You got the head. You got all these different members of the body. Read on.
And all members have not the same office.
He says, and every member does not have the same what?
Office.
Every member does not have the same responsibility. It's not meant that everybody do the same thing, because we're all made as an assortment of pieces put together for the benefit of the unison, of the whole. So what can I do for the body? That should be my question. What can I do that I know how to do until I'm told to do something else where I can benefit the body? That should be in everybody's mind frame. When I moved into the brother's house, I moved up from the trash to dishes. In the school, my responsibility was sweeping and mopping. And then my responsibility came to be book inventory. I had to inventory all the books. I had to make sure that there was a record and an account for all the books, that the books were put back on the shelf after class. Wipe the tables down. All the desks had to be sanitized. We kept a spray bottle with some bleach and water mixed, and after every class we sprayed the desk down. After every class. The toilets needed to be cleaned. Then this dusting had to be done. And then I moved the old school that we had a podium that was stained. It was stained 3 times, and it was glossed with polyurethane 3 times. So the podium looked like glass. You could see a reflection in the floor of the old podium at the old school that we had. Because it was meticulously put together. And so you had to go dust in order to keep that same polish, that triple polish or triple urethane coat. You had to go dust it first, and then you had to use a paintbrush to get the dust out of the cracks. So my job after that became getting a paintbrush and dusting the cracks of the podium. And then after you dust you just can't sweep it. You got to dust with a paintbrush in between the cracks to get out all the fine dust particles so you don't scratch the polyurethane coat.
I remember we had to get that wood stuff.
Yeah, we had to get a wood polish.
Yeah,
After you dusted it, then you came and put the wood polish on. And then you had to get on your hands and knees and manually wipe the podium down to bring the shine back. And use a wood polish on the podium and all the wood. That was part of responsibility. Everybody can do something. There is something you can do. Everybody don't have to have the same job, but everybody can do something for the benefit of the unit. Read on.
So we being many are one body.
He says, for we being many are what?
One body.
We're supposed to operate as one body. Just like your hands work for the betterment of the whole. Just like your feet work for the betterment of the whole. Just like your head works for the betterment of the whole. Every finger is important. Every toe is important. Every extremity is important for the benefit of the whole. We have to start thinking that way. Too many times we don't think as a unit. We think as individuals. We think about what I need to do for myself. That doesn't build up the church when you think as an individual. What builds the church is what can you offer based on what your position is at the time being. And the positions change over time. You don't always go to trash, stick to trash. You don't always stick to dusting or mopping or serving. There's different positions. I've seen sisters that didn't know how to sew nothing. I'm not even mocking sisters' work because they still did it out of sincerity. But I remember my first Passover, the sisters had sewed the pants and one leg was shorter than the other. And I still wore it to Passover. I had one long leg and I had one short leg. But how you fix that? You tuck them both in boots.
Tuck them in boots.
That's how you fix that. You tuck them both in boots. And I'm not even mad that the sisters didn't.
They did the best they could do.
They did the best that they could do based on what they understood and what they knew. But they had one long leg and one short leg. And it was several brothers' pants like that. That was Man, them legs weren't the same. Yeah, but this is real. When you're in the camp, you just got to take the generosity and the efforts that people bring to the table, and they don't always know what they're doing. But it's okay because they're trying. And just like it began from having one leg longer than the other in the Passover pants, I just tucked them and put them in boots, put them in combat boots, tuck them both in, so you can't see. If you do too much stretching, one of them legs gonna pop out. One of them legs gonna pop out the top of that boot. But you know what? You look at that to what sisters are able to do today. Look at the craftsmanship from any Passover in the last 5 years. Look at the quality of craftsmanship and the input that sisters are putting into sewing. You think these things are made in some warehouse or factory by some company. And all it's made is by sisters. I've watched sisters sew all night with no sleep. Many times. Because it was crunch time. I watched sisters sew 24/7 on an all-night shift. And still go to work the next day. But you look at the dedication to what sisters offer, it all comes to an end when you see in Passover how the immaculate dresses are. The headscarves, the gowns, the men's girdles, the men's geese or garments, or their mantles. You look at all these different pieces, you say, man, wow, who did that? You know who did that? There's many members to one body. That's how you get it done.
It says office, to perform, an act of good, duty or employment, business, formulary of devotion, act of good. There's plenty of opportunities to perform and benefit the whole.
Yep. Many. Verse 5. Many opportunities.
5 from the top. So we, being many, are one body in Yahushua.
Read on.
And everyone members one of another.
He says, and we're all connected, whether you think you are or not.
Yeah.
You all have a purpose. Every one of us have a purpose and a duty that we can do. But we don't ask enough, what can we do? We don't volunteer enough, what can we offer? And this is what we're witnessing in Nehemiah, where you got majority of all men and women that are all hands on deck in this project. That's what makes this project wonderful. The scriptures say that things written aforetime was written for what? Our learning. We're supposed to be learning from the building and construction of this temple, of these walls. Let that go. Let's go back to Nehemiah. We're in verse, read.
But the gate of the fountain repaired Shalom, the son of Kohaza, the ruler of part of Mizpah. He built it and covered it and set up the doors thereof, the locks thereof, and the bars thereof, in the wall of the pool of Shiloh by the king's garden, and onto the stairs that go down from the city of David. After him repaired Nehemiah, the son of isbhpk, the ruler of the half part of Bethsur, unto the place over against the sepulchres of David, and to the pool that was made, and unto the house of the mighty. After him repaired the Levites, Rehum the son of Benai. Next unto him repaired Bahashtadba, the ruler of the half part of Kalah, and his part. After him repaired their brethren, Babai the son of Hanad, the ruler of the half part of Kalah.
Many different teams, with all for one purpose. Read on.
And next to him repaired Ezer, the son of Jeshua, the ruler of Mizpah. Another piece over against the going up to the armory at the turning of the wall.
So that's coming up where the armory is. Let me see if I don't see where that is at, where the armory is at. Read on.
20. After him Baruch, the son of Zadai, earnestly repaired the other piece, from the turning of the wall unto the door of the house of Lishib, the high priest. After him repaired Merimoth, the son of Uriah, the son of Koz, another piece, from the door of the house of Elishab even to the end of the house of Elishab. And after him repaired the priests, the men of the plain. After him repaired Benjamin and Hashab, over against their house. After him repaired Uzziah, the son of Messiah, the son of Ananiah, by his house. After him repaired Benaiah, the son of Hanad, another piece, from the house of Uzziah unto the turning of the wall, even unto the corner. Palal, the son of Uzziah, over against the turning of the wall, and the tower which lieth out from the king's high house, that was by the court of the prison. After him, Pedaiah, the son of Parash.
What verse you on?
26.
We're going to come back to 26, but I want to take a note that on verse 13, that I brought it out a minute ago, but I want to kind of go into this a little bit. Read verse 13 again.
13. The valley gate repaired Hanan, and the inhabitants of Zanah. They built it and set up the doors thereof, the locks thereof, and the bars thereof. 1,000 cubits on the wall unto the dung gate.
It says, and they 1,000 cubits on the wall unto the dung gate. Now the dung gate faced what's known as the Valley of Hinnon. Now this Valley of Hinnon, go to 2 Chronicles. Go to 2 Chronicles and get chapter 33, verse 6.
33 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
And he caused his children to pass through the fire in the valley of the son of Hinnom.
Now this is King Manasseh sacrificing his own children to different gods. This is what happened near the Valley of Hinnon, which is where the dung port faces. But that particular area had a bad history. It had a bad history because in that particular area is where King Manasseh, through the idolatry and worshiping Baal, put his children to death for Baal. Read it again.
And he caused his children to pass through the fire in the valley of the son of Hannon.
So he burned his children alive at that valley that the dung gate at the south faces. Read on.
Also he observed times and used enchantments.
He tapped into
So there was a lot of witchcraft. There's a lot of astrology going on, necromancy. Yep. He was tapping into all kind of negative in the Valley of Hinnon. Read on.
And he observed times.
And so he was an observer of time. So he was about astrology, tarot card readings, getting a reading, a palm read.
Mediums.
Spirit mediums. Read on.
And he used enchantments.
He used necromancy, talking to the dead, anything to get an advantage. The left-hand side of spirituality, he tapped into to have an advantage. And this was going on in the Valley of Hinnon. This is why they made the dung port to face that direction. Because of what was going on in that area was crap. So that became a place of perpetual stench. Because when you look at the word in the New Testament, it says, thus the English version of the Bible translate the Valley of Hinnon in the New Testament as hell.
Wow.
It says, with its pagan history and its burning sewer stench, Jerusalem's Hinnon Valley serves as a vivid metaphor for the Christian and Jewish concept of hell. They said this place was like hell because look at the history that went on there. So they made that the burning of all waste. So when you had certain of our people having to rebuild that gate stunk. That dung port leading out to the Valley of Hinnon, you had to build that wall in the worst case situation where it was burning sewage there.
It's filthy.
It was filthy. So think about the people that took that job. Think about brothers that took upon themselves to say, you know what? Why did I have to get the place where it's burning sewage and it's stench? And why am I assigned to this particular area of the wall? Because a lot of our people do that.
The south wall.
Yeah, why are you giving me the crap job? Think about the smell. A dung port is a sewer port. That's a sewer canal. So you mean to tell me men had to sit up and be motivated to walk through and trek through sewer to rebuild the wall where the sewer came out? Somebody had to do that job.
Or the nation's gonna come to that sewer wall.
Or you're gonna be invaded by that vulnerability. So you think about the smells, the waste, the history of that location. A lot of people may not want to do that job. But in Israel, when it comes to doing a job, every job isn't beneficial or every job isn't pretty.
Isn't glorious.
No, there's some dirty jobs that need to be done. I want to highlight this because all of the jobs in Israel are inglorious. They are dirty jobs. But somebody got to do it. Somebody got to have a willing mind to say, you know what, regardless of how I feel like this is not a good look for me, or I'm not comfortable doing this job. Why do I have to do this job? Somebody got to build that. Somebody got to rebuild that sewer canal. Yes.
And then by going through all that, is that also within a person to also build patience?
It takes a lot of humility to be able to rebuild a wall that was destroyed, and all you're working in is waste. Mm-hmm. Somebody got to do it. A lot of people don't want to do it. They feel like, you know, that's beneath me, my pedigree of where I come from. But you look at verse 13. He said the valley gate repaired Hanun and the inhabitants of Zanoah. They built it and they set the doors up. So it says, and the bars and 1,000 cubits of the wall unto the dung gate. Somebody had to work that wall and that gate that's right there by where the sewer comes out, which in translation is known as hell. It had to really stink to where they translate the valley of Hanun as hell, and the gate that points in that direction. That had to be a funky side of Jerusalem. But who got to do it? Sometimes you got to do jobs that you're not comfortable doing. And you know what? We run into this because of the nature of our jobs that we do today. We run into this all the time. We go into people's houses and the house be filled with cat waste, dog waste. The furniture be soaked with waste, still wet.
Yeah.
Boxes are soaked with urine. And you know we got to go in there, and you got the smell. The smell that makes you throw up. The smell is hell.
Now, one dude's house, bro.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That apartment we went to.
Nah, remember that other guy, bro? That dude, he was riding.
Oh, I missed that. Yeah, there was one guy that, you know, brother said that because he was pretty much incapacitated, and he was immobile, that he had sores on his body that were putrefying and rotting sores on his body, and you could smell the rotting flesh coming off his body. And brothers walked in, and it was cat and his own stuff. He was sitting in his own waste.
The dogs were there, yeah.
It was dog waste and his own waste.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dog waste was better than human waste.
With mental health, and I had a patient. I was on a window the whole night. I had it. I had to pick it up.
And you have to pick up human waste and human feces, and that's your job. And some people say, man, I don't get paid enough to do this job. But when it comes to your nation and it comes for your family, you got a family to feed. Can you go in there and say, man, I don't feel like doing this today? Because your family's livelihood is at stake. You know, when it comes to our nationhood, we got to think, man, outside of just the regular comforts, my nation is at stake. My people is at stake. Not just my household. There's things that you got to suffer that you feel like, man, this is unjust or uncomfortable. Yes.
Is Hanun a person?
No. Well, Hanun is a person here, but the valley of Hanun is a valley a valley of hell in translation, because that's where the sewage comes out of the city, and that's where it's burnt. But also it has a real bad history, and I can see why they let the sewage out in that area, because that's where King Manasseh was putting to death his children and doing a bunch of witchcraft. But there's things that you got to do when it comes to building a nation that's uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. But somebody got to do it. Now let that go and jump back up to verse 29. Nehemiah, I'm sorry.
Nehemiah 3 and 29.
Yes, sir, I think you were at 29. What verse did you stop at?
26.
26. Read that.
Moreover, the Nehemiahs dwelt in Ophel, unto the place over against the water gate toward the east, in the tower that lieth out. And then the Tekoites repaired another piece, over against the great wall that lieth out, even unto the wall of Ophel.
So you can see where they are now in the project. They're already on the east side of Jerusalem. Read on.
From above the horse gate repaired the priests, every one over against his house.
Now, if you notice that the closer that you're getting to the actual temple itself, this is where the priest jobs were situated. Nehemiah did that so that people didn't have to go far from where their normal household was or where their normal duty station was to go repair a gate that was across town on the other side of the city. He put everybody in proximity so that they can be there. Now, when you look at certain writings about why that's important, he said because in certain commentaries they say that when you put a job or a duty close to where people live, he says their household is there.
And they
care about it more because they want to guard their own personal belongings.
Listen, if that wall, I read partially. I read that partially also. If somebody penetrates that wall, your house is the first to get robbed.
Yep.
So it behooves you to do your job.
Yep. It behooves.
It behooves you. Listen. This wall breaks down, the wall that you built, and this wall crashed, and they rob your house and take all your jewels and wealth, what you have going on. You gotta remember, you were the one that built that wall. Personal accountability. He made sure that there was personal accountability as much as possible. That was a part of the building of the temple. Yep. Personal accountability per section.
Because you lived there and your family was there.
Yep.
So you know what? You know what he understands? If we don't invest, we don't care. We only care about things we invest in or we find valuable. Then we care. Nehemiah knew how to situate the teams to where your family is there. So if that wall was craply built, it wasn't built appropriately, your family's getting raided. They're in jeopardy. So he knew the scripture says where a man's treasure is what? Yeah. His heart will be also.
Yep.
He knows how to put your people's treasure, where people's treasure is, that's where their mind is going to be at, on what they find valuable.
Oh, it don't affect me, bro. I'm going to do it
if it don't affect you, if I'm building a wall across town, my family don't live over there anyway. So if I don't do a good job, so be it. I live on this side.
Yep. And if you don't do that in time, because they had to build this tower quick. These towers and these walls fast. You can slow poke if you want to. They're going to come through your wall.
Yep.
That you built slow and take your house.
Yep. So he knew how to neutralize that idea that, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't affect me because I'm on this side. He knew how to neutralize that thought process.
That's the east gate. I'm on the west side.
I'm on the west side. We west side.
We west side.
We west side, so that don't affect me. But you know what? He knew how to make them think as a community.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't do a good job, your family's at stake. Your livelihood is at stake. If you don't care enough. He knew how to get your care involved into the building of that temple and situated appropriately. Read on.
After them repaired Zadok, the son of Emir, over against his house. After him repaired also Shemaiah, the son of Shechaniah, the keeper of the east gate. After him repaired Hananiah, the son of Shelemiah, and Hanam, the sixth son of Zalaph. Yeah. Another piece.
Human traffic's going to come right through your gate, bro.
Yep. They coming. Read on.
After him repaired Meshullam, the son of Bechariah, over against his chamber. After him repaired Malachi, the goldsmith, son, unto the place of the Nethinims.
Yeah, the Nethinims.
Nethinims. And of the merchants, over against the gate Nithkai, and to the going up of the corner. And between the going up of the corner onto the sheep gate, repair the goldsmiths and the merchants.
So this is showing you how Nehemiah had situated the building of the temple, and how he positioned everybody at a delegating authority to where he put them in teams, so where this project was getting done simultaneously, and all hands were on deck, and everybody's care and everybody's effort was involved. Now I know it's too late to really go into chapter 4, so we'll pick up on chapter 4 next Shabbat on the opposition. Once the nations start to see the progress, and they start to see the production, and they start to see the seriousness of what's going on, then fear and opposition starts to increase upon the nations. No different than when you first come into this knowledge. You will be ridiculed about what you believe in. Why are you wearing those funny things on your clothes? What is that? Why you don't eat any pork? I've seen you eat pork before. Why don't you do these things? You've done these things before. Why don't you hang out?
Different?
Why are you different? Oh, you in a cult. You're gonna get the ridicule initially when you make a stance for the Most High, just like Nehemiah received from the nations. But once they start seeing that you're serious about what you believe in, and then once they start seeing progress
And
commitment over time, and they start to see a change, then they start to get angry. Or they start to ask questions. For our people, that ridicule starts turning into questions. Tell me about the Israelites. Tell me about this Hebrew stuff that you be on. They still got a little bit of sarcasm involved. Tell me about this religion that you believe in. Because they see something that they didn't expect to happen in you. They see a healthy, sound mind in you. They see less anxiety in you. They see confidence in you. They see strength in you. So it starts off as ridicule, but it ends as, you know what, I need your assistance. Do you think you can give me a call and reach out to me and we can have a conversation? Now they want to know. But when it comes to the nations, they don't take us serious until they see something erected and they start seeing us unified. That's when they say, oh, okay, we gotta, these nations, these Hebrews are for real. This is a real movement. So we gotta come in and we gotta sabotage this movement before it takes steam, before it gains ground. That's what the opposition is about to be for Nehemiah. He's going to start seeing the Samaritans be activated, the Amorites be activated, the Philistines be activated, the Arabians be activated. Now he's about to start seeing opposition to what he's doing when they start seeing it. But at this time, so what this means is that just because you start something at a certain rate doesn't mean that rate you can get comfortable at. You're going to watch Israel have to go double time into the building of this temple, and in the midst of it, becoming even that much more exhausted, pulling double duty, having to defend in one day at one time and build on the other time of the day. They're going to be pulling guard, building the temple, and holding swords.
They'll be doing double duty.
Double duty, double work, double time, having two obligations, because that's what it's showing you, that when you have a monumental project like this, it's going to take every level of effort that you can muster up to build it. It's not going to be easy, especially when you're changing something, when you're changing the culture.
When there's good.
When you're changing the culture, you're changing the narratives, and you're changing the ideals of what people believe in and how they think. It's going to take it's a gargantuan task. It's a humongous task, and there will be haters. So what you're doing, but you got to be able to suffer those, and that's what we're going to pick up on next week, is the opposition that Nehemiah is about to encounter. So with that, we're going to go ahead and say shalom. The water for everybody online. Sister Camille, most definitely, we got you. We ain't gonna procrastinate. I'm a procrastinator. we're gonna get you the prayers. All right, we got you covered. All right. All right, shalom, everybody online. Imagine upon your shalom, rise and face Jerusalem.
Shalom.
All right, shalom, everybody. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Please listen to us right now.
Please listen right now.
Send Mike Allah
Send my God.
and the righteous angel
The right saint
to watch over,
watch over,
bless,
bless,
heal,
heal,
protect,
protect,
and make strong
make strong
the people of Yashala.
people of Yahweh.
Also send unto us
Also send unto us
much wisdom,
much wisdom,
much knowledge,
much knowledge,
much understanding,
much understanding,
much patience,
much patience,
much faith,
much faith,
much brotherhood,
much brotherhood,
and much love,
much love,
spiritual power,
spiritual power,
and forgive all of our
and
sins.
forgive all of our sins.
Yahweh Shai, come quickly.
Yahweh Shai come quickly.
For in thee is our hope,
Is our hope,
always,
always,
and forever.
and forever.
Amen.
Amen.
Psalms 92. It is a good thing to give thanks unto Yahweh,
It's a good thing to give thanks to Yahweh
and to sing praises unto thy name.
and sing praise to thy name.
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh,
to show forth thy loving kindness
show forth the loving kindness
in the morning,
in the morning,
and thy faithfulness every night,
thy faithfulness every night,
upon an instrument of 10 strings,
upon an instrument of 10 strings,
and upon the psaltery,
upon the psaltery,
upon the harp,
upon the harp,
with the solemn sound.
solemn sound.
For thou, Yahweh,
Thou Yahweh
hast made me glad through thy work.
has made me glad to thy work.
I will triumph
I will triumph
in the works of thy hands.
the works of thy hands.
O
O
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
how great are thy works,
how great are thy works,
and thy thoughts are very deep.
and thy thoughts are very deep.
A brutish man knoweth
A
not,
brutish man knoweth not,
neither doth the fool understand this.
none of the fool understand this.
When the wicked spring is the grass,
When the wicked spring is the grass,
and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish,
when all the works of iniquity do flourish,
it is that they shall be destroyed forever.
they that shall be destroyed forever.
But thou, Yahweh,
But thou art Yahweh,
art most high forevermore.
our most high forevermore.
For lo, thy enemies,
For lo, thy enemies,
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh,
for lo, thy enemies,
lo, thy enemies
shall perish.
shall perish.
All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered.
All the works of iniquity shall be scattered.
But mine horn shalt thou exalt,
My horn shalt thou exalt,
like the horn of a
like the
unicorn.
horn of a unicorn.
I shall be anointed with fresh oil.
I shall be anointed with fresh oil.
Mine eye also shall see.
My eye also shall see
My desire
my desire
on mine enemies.
on my enemies.
And mine ears shall hear
And my ears shall hear
my desire
my desire
of the wicked
of the wicked
that rise up against
that
me.
rise up against me.
The righteous shall flourish like the palm
The
tree.
righteous shall flourish like the palm tree.
He shall grow like a cedar in
He
Lebanon.
shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon.
Those that be planted in the house of Yahweh
Those that be planted in the house of Yahweh
shall flourish in the courts of our power.
shall flourish in the courts of our power.
They shall still bring forth fruit in old age.
They shall still bring forth fruit in old age.
They shall be fat and
They shall
flourishing,
be fat and flourishing,
to show that the Lord is upright.
to show that the Lord is upright.
He is my
He
rock.
is my rock,
He is, and there is no unrighteousness in
and there
him.
is no unrighteousness in him.
Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Hashem Yahushua.
Psalms 133. Shayar,
Shayar,
Hama Iowa,
Iowa,
Ladawad,
Ladawad,
Hana,
Hana,
Ma,
Ma,
Tawad,
Tawad,
Wama,
Wama,
Naayam,
Naayam,
Shabbat,
Shabbat,
Akim,
Akim,
Gam,
Gam,
Yachad,
Yachad,
Kashaman,
Kashaman,
Hatawab,
Tawab,
Ayal,
Ayal,
Haraash,
Haraash,
Yara'ad,
Yara'ad,
Yarad,
Yarad,
Ayal,
Ayal,
Hazakwan,
Hazakwan,
Zakwan,
Zakwan,
Aharan,
Aran,
Shayarad,
Yarad,
Ayal,
Ayal,
Payah,
Payah,
Marawathiwa,
Marawathiwa,
Katal,
Katal,
Karamwan,
Karamwan,
Shayarad,
Yarad,
Ayal,
Ayal,
Hararia,
Hararia,
Tazawan,
Tazawan,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Sham,
Sham,
Tazawa,
Tazawa,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ath,
Ath,
Habaraka,
Habaraka,
Chayayim,
Chayayim,
Aid,
Aid,
Hawalam,
Hawalam.
Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Hashem Yahushua. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. Amen.
Aman. Barakatah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Barakatah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Natalanawa,
Natalanawa.
Hataroah.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives us the law.
Barakatah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Barakatah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai.
Hahawa'ah,
Hawa'ah.
Natalanawa,
Natalanawa.
Awar, Lara'ah.
Lara'ah. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives us the light to see.
Barakatah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Barakatah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai.
Hahawa'ah,
Hawa'ah.
Natalanawa,
Natalanawa.
Ha'ayo,
Ha'ayo.
Korah,
Korah.
Lakorah,
Korah.
Ha'aim.
Ha'aim. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives us the ram's horn to call the people.
Barakatah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Barakatah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai.
Natalanawa,
Natalanawa.
Shaman,
Shaman.
Zayath,
Zayath.
Lamashak,
Lamashach.
Yasha'ala.
Yashalom. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai that gives us the olive oil to anoint Israel.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem.
Yahushua,
Yahushua.
Rakanawa,
Rakanawa.
Washala,
Washala.
Wahabiyat,
Wahabiyat.
Sapari,
Sapari.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem.
Yahushua,
Yahushua.
Rakanawa,
Rakanawa.
Washala,
Washala.
Wahabiyat,
Wahabiyat.
Sapari,
Sapari.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem.
Yahushua,
Yahushua.
Rakanawa,
Rakanawa.
Washala,
Washala.
Wahabiyat,
Wahabiyat.
Sapari,
Sapari.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahushai.
Yahushai.
Barakanawa.
Barakanawa.
Washala.
Washala.
Wahabiyat.
Wahabiyat.
Sapari.
Sapari.
Turn. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahushai.
Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahushai.
Yahushai.
The water Yahweh.
Water Yahweh.
The water Yahushai.
Yahushai.
The water Yahweh.
Water Yahweh.
The water Yahushai.
Yahushai.
The water Yahweh.
Water Yahweh.
The water Yahushai.
Water Yahushai.
All love.
All love.
All mercy.
All mercy.
All truth.
All truth.
All wisdom.
All wisdom.
All knowledge.
All knowledge.
All understanding.
All understanding.
All praise.
All praise.
All might.
All might.
All fear.
All fear.
All joy.
All joy.
All mercy.
All mercy.
All power.
All power.
Is from Yahweh.
From Yahweh.
All power.
All power.
Is from Yahweh.
From Yahweh.
All power.
All power.
Is from Yahweh.
From Yahweh.
In Yahweh's name we pray.
In Yahweh's name we pray.
The water.
Water.
Damyad.
Damyad.
Aman.
Aman.
Men circle up. Sisters have a seat. All the men circle up.
Scoot down, sir.
Scoot up. There. Open it up.
All right.
Go ahead.
Saluting out in the heavenly order, Yahweh, Yahushai, Ugoy Sharala, Min Israel, Umatrim, Ra,
Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Barakam.
Huriyah Saluting out the daughters of Zion, Min Israel, Umatrim, Ra,
Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Yachimata, dismiss, fall out. All right, Israel, we'll see you class. We got class back in action on Monday. We'll see you again on Monday. All right, shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Feed the sick those prayers.